Suddenly, Jimmy will debate MAGA and Luxander too. I'm sure they're gonna join. Suddenly, Jimmy debating MAGA. Someone has to, because Democrats kind of suck. We can put me on the solo screen, right? Input, hey everybody. Luxander's not here yet, but they will be here soon, real soon. What's up, everyone? We're here, we're talking, we're hanging out, relaxing, acting all cool, shooting some b-ball outside of the school. Now, I will say, there were a couple of guys, and they were up to no good. And they started making trouble in the neighborhood. I'm not going to keep doing this bit. What's up, everybody? No, I'm not going to debate MAGA and Lux, but Lux and I will debate MAGA and anybody else who disagrees on trans issues because they're so often so wrong in their understanding and show that they don't have the first fucking clue. I'm still feeling like a musical. I got to tell you, today sucks. I'm not having a good day. Health-wise, not having a good day, but also just thinking about ideologically where we are right now, the politics of it all, that we are sitting here waiting to find out as though it's like, who's this year's bachelor going to be? But our thing is like, who's going to actually be able to eat? Welcome to the Hunger Games shit. We're on the verge. We're on the verge of the Hunger Games because we're literally on the verge of making people hungry. So that's dope. Hey, Lux is here. Did you get to hear the intro song today?
No.
Pretty good. It's pretty good. It was a little parody of Suddenly Seymour. Hey, look, somebody put effort into, now I feel underdressed. I don't feel like I look presentable. You look great. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I don't ever know what our friendship and our professional relationship, they sometimes conflict and I'm like, I kind of wanted to say a thing and then I didn't.
It's okay. Listen, I am capitalizing on the cuteness of my appearance for both you and me, both of our benefit. So we're here to make money, okay?
Yeah, don't miss tomorrow. Forrest and I are doing a Halloween episode, and I'm going to be coming as a little slut Christ. I'm going to be all kinds of slutty. I'm showing up as a sort of what do I want to call it? Well, I'm going to go with queer Christ. It's definitely very, we're gonna femme up a bit, but I wouldn't go so far as to call it drag necessarily.
Okay.
I took an internal audit of myself, and the sheer amount of makeup I think to make it true drag is not something I could accomplish. I can't feel that closed in. I don't like the sensation of makeup on my face. It's also why we're only doing a 2-hour show, because there will still be some makeup and stuff going on. Once the show is over, it begins. Get the fuck out of here, Violet. Jimmy, your forehead looks immaculate today. I hear it'll only take 1.5 hours to cross now. Yeah, that's because it's a little oily. It's a little oily. I found out I have an abnormally sloped head this week. Have I already told you this?
No.
Did you know?
I'm just hearing it now.
This is pretty bad.
I guess.
Thanks. Love you too, bud.
You're the one who's like, look at my sloped ass forehead.
I know, and you're supposed to go, no, get out of here.
I mean, I only ever see you from the front, so I would never have noticed if you hadn't said something.
If one of my friends says I look like shit today, I'm like, well, I wasn't, yeah. It's whatever. I guess it's the curse of having such a good hair and beard combo. You know who else had an abnormally sloped forehead? Jesus. Jesus had 50% Neanderthal DNA, so you just have to deal with it. You just have to deal with it. Look, here's the deal. We are ready to talk to you if you have issues with trans equality, but also I talk about the other political issues at hand, like the fact that the Republicans are 100% the reason why you may lose SNAP benefits tomorrow. And to tell you the truth, even if last minute, or I should say the day after, tomorrow's the last day of SNAP that is funded. Even if it is last minute that they pull it together, still fuck them anyway. If they last minute do an independent bill, or last minute Donald Trump gets off his ass, because Donald Trump actually can fund it for at minimum November, if not longer, without a single act of Congress, he has discretionary funds he could allocate to it. He could absolutely do that right fucking now. Even if they pull that together and they do that shit, fuck him anyway. Because the amount of stress right now, I've got people reaching out to me talking about, yeah, I'm on Snap and I'm about to lose it, and I don't know what the fuck to do. I don't know. I haven't made my plan. I don't know where it goes from here. And on top of that, all the Republicans capitalizing on this, all the privileged Republicans, because there are plenty of poor Republicans who get it because they're on fucking Snap. Because red states actually use a shit ton of fucking Snap. In fact, red states use more Snap than blue states do. And not only that, red states take more in welfare from the federal government. They take more federal funding for things than they pay in, unlike blue states, who generally, but it's like the top 10 who take the most are red and the top 10 who give the most are blue. You know, Mississippi, Kentucky, these places, Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, they're funded by California. They're funded by New York, as they are sitting there using like fucking AI to make fake videos of Black women bragging that they sell their SNAP benefits. Just saw one of these, pretending it was like a news report. It was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Usually I sell my $2,000 SNAP for $1,500 so I can, pay for stuff. Which, by the way, you don't get $2,000 of benefits unless you have a family of like between 9 and 11 in one household. But even if that was what was happening, if somebody who qualified for that much and they basically could make $1,500 support their family better than $2,000 in SNAP, I still wouldn't be pissed off about it. I still wouldn't give a fuck if that's actually what they were doing. But it isn't what they were doing. The reason why they're resorting to AI is because they don't have a point. This is the thing I keep pointing out when I'm on Threads or I'm on somewhere and they're sharing AI to make some bullshit narrative. If your point is so strong, why did you need AI to make it? If your point is so strong, why do you need to lie to make it? Why do you need hyperbole? I just got tagged on a thread. MAGA, if you think you can call and debate us on this shit, you got it right here. 33654-32101. 33654-32101. 33654-32101. It's easy. Call in. Fucking do it. We'll talk to you. Where is the thread I got just tagged in? Because it's like, it's literally for people who are so opposed to queer sex. You guys sure love keeping stuff way up your butts and then pulling it out when you need to. It's fucking weird. This is the one I just got tagged in. Someone saying like, dude, look at this. Someone poses, this is why air traffic controllers and other federal workers didn't receive a paycheck today, which, by the way, even as a weird category, there's way more federal. Why are we yes, it's going to affect people who are trying to travel, but why are we singling out air traffic controllers? Like, Jesus Christ, there are so many people. But whatever. Anyway, and other federal healthcare for illegals, $182 billion. We checked the tape. It turns out that wasn't true. Transgender for all, $97.5 billion. That one's true. But the rest are wrong. DEI abroad, $45 billion. What the fuck is transgender for all even supposed to mean?
Wish I knew.
I'm going to screenshot this and just take it over to Perplexity and just write, can you fact check this?
Does it mean everybody gets $40,000? Because that's like what surgery costs? Because I would take it.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. I'll take it even if I have to get at least fake boobs to collect the rest. I'll spend the $7,000, get myself a nice pair of, I don't mean to characterize or fetishize. I get there's a large variety of reasons why people, but I'm getting some big old hentai titties. I'm getting the tiggle. I'm living my best Futanari life after that's over, which, to be true, Futanari, I'll probably also need some things extended as well. But I mean, you're supposed to have something disastrous if you're going to be Futa. But yeah, I'm going weird with it. I'm getting double H starters.
Well, that's
Okay.
actually recommended for trans women because trans women have broad chests, and it's recommended that you get like the biggest size you can get, and then like you probably are going to size up again later as a method of like stretching the skin out to get there. But yeah, just like to make things look proportional, the biggest titties possible are best for people with wide rib cages.
I'm getting nipples replaced with valves.
You're gonna put wine in there?
I'm getting real weird with it.
When you play slap the bag, that's a whole different thing now.
I discovered r/breast expansion, and now it's a whole thing. It's a whole category I didn't know about. And
a new chapter of your life.
I felt something about it. MAGA, where are you? You love to you love to chirp about the trans. You love chirping. Chirp, chirp. Tweedledee.
Someone says you people are sick. Get on the phone.
Call us and tell us that. Tell us we're sick. By the way, in fairness, over the last words I was saying, they might not be transphobe. r/breast expansion has done some strange things to my mind.
That's why they say that porn's bad for you, right? Because it messes up your brain.
I think the longer I do this, the funnier it gets.
I was like, where did you go?
DEI abroad, $45 billion. Yeah, that's right. We're still on the list. Liberal news bailouts, $12 billion. Climate handouts, $140 billion. $125 billion to activist kickbacks. And then, so that basically accounts for roughly what would that be, like $0.6 trillion, half a trillion, $0.6 trillion, $600 billion, all of that added together. And here's my favorite part. So this guy's trying to make a point that this is where the 1.5 trillion they're asking back for. So he's covered a bullshit list of $600 billion and then just goes with miscellaneous radical policies, $898,500,000,000. Like, bro, you can't even round out the list. If you're going to make these numbers up, just make it fully, like, make DEI abroad a, solid 500 billion. Goodness sakes, make trans for all funnier. 69,420 billion. Right? Like, Jesus Christ, do I have to do your work for you? Here are the claims broken down quickly by Perplexity. MAGA, you can call. We are ready to help you figure out your dumb shit. I'm having a bad day, so I got to tell you, I don't have a lot of patience. I don't have a lot of I'll have patience with the caller as long as they're engaging honestly, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm ready to hear you out. Maybe we can find some middle ground between you, us, and civil rights. Maybe we'll take half a civil right. What about a civre? You keep the.
I have also been having a rough week, and we didn't get any spicy calls on Takis today. Well, we got some really we need to buckle down and inform someone who is expressing some ignorance, but we didn't have anything truly spicy. So apparently, we're both rearing to go.
MAGA is scared, honestly, of actually defending their positions.
So true.
Because after the this could just sound like me just trying to reverse psychology, but I've been thinking about it, and this is actually where I am. A bunch of them were like, you just created 10 million Charlie Kirks when you killed Charlie, when you killed old Chucky buddy, you created 10 million. And they got real excited. And they did start going on Twitter and trying to find Republicans or Democrats and leftists to debate with. And they started going, for a little bit, they started calling shows like this. And the reason why they're not calling is that immediately failed. They were like, oh shit, if I'm not practiced at propaganda the way Charlie is, if I'm not practiced at obfuscation, if I'm not practiced at cherry picking studies and having them ready to go, knowing that my opponent won't know which ones I'm going to do, and then going, your absence of being able to debunk it impromptu as a college kid on a campus, when people can fact check me live, I look like a fucking idiot. I just intercepted myself so that I actually said the word idiot, just so everyone knows. That was, I just put effort into ending that sentence with the word idiot. Yeah. I almost said ridiot. I think it's backfired. I don't think MAGA, honestly, I think the reason why you don't call is because you can't actually defend your position. And you found out that just saying, well, what is a woman is not that good of as soon as a person bruh, it's not that fucking hard. Definitions, just because you want them to be only 3 words long, don't make them 3 words long. As Ben Shapiro, my mentor, would say, facts don't care about your feelings. Also, my sister's wicked hot. That's my
crazy.
sister. That's
how hot she is.
Dude. It's
absurd.
When I was people even started pointing out, like, when I started doing my response content back when that was the kind of YouTuber I was. I grew up. Back when I was that kind of YouTuber. Sorry if you're still that kind. Genuinely, I say sorry, not as because I insulted you, but because it must still be hurting and killing you. I don't think until you stop doing response content do you go, oh, fuck, there went my soul for a while.
It's so bad for you, legitimately.
It's so bad for you. Anyway, people were like, hey, Jimmy, you got to stop making it so obvious that you're so attracted to Abigail. It was weird because they have the same face. That's the weird thing. Ben Shapiro works as a girl. Yes, they do. I'm dead serious. Google right now.
Through a filter or something, but like the shape of their face is
foundation. It's the same face.
Hold on, let me look at it.
Same nose,
Ben
same mouth.
And Abby Shapiro. Let's take a look at a side by side.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
Oh, I can't. Okay, yeah, her face is just so much more narrow. That's the main difference. But I see what you're saying.
They are. Anyway, she's a beautiful monster. Just a gorgeous bigot. What a lovely piece of garbage. You ever go out and you're like, oh, look at this garbage. Like, you know what? Last year, I went on a walk and there was not gold like the substance, but gold framed painting at somebody's. I'm going to go grab it. Let me show you what somebody was throwing away because we're waiting for MAGA to call. MAGA, are you here? Let me put that poll up real quick. I'm gonna grab it off the wall.
Also, if you're here and you're hanging out, hit the like button because that will immediately help show the stream to more people. So we might actually get some spicy calls in today. So hit the like button. Do it.
Somebody was throwing this away to the point that I was like, did you guys break up and they're throwing away your stuff? It's huge.
Yeah.
And it's
that's
beautiful
crazy.
Watercolor, but I looked it up. The painter is like famous. Edith Payne. There's a little price tag on the back. Whichever place sold them this charged $150 for it. And it's beautiful, beautiful trash.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful trash. Just absolutely gorgeous garbage is what Abigail Shapiro is.
Yeah. Point made.
Did I make the point? I'm out of breath. I'm a little out of breath. All right, let's take a call while we wait to see if any MAGAs will call. Michaela, I don't know how to answer your question at all because I hope I'm not averse to this, but we'll talk. Michaela from Wisconsin, you're on the line with Jimmy and Luxander with a question about basically people of color in queer spaces. Go ahead.
Well, hello, and thank you for taking my call. Can you hear me clearly?
I do.
Well, that is great. And I would like to, of course, talk about that because I am not talking about people of color. I'm talking about Black people. Black people.
Okay.
And the aversion to even say the word Black people when I made it clear, multiple times, I'm talking about dark-skinned Black people. And that is a discrepancy. It's a distinguishment that POC often make because I am seeing just in society and pretty much in all modern societies, they are anti-Black in one way or another. And so I would like to have an honest conversation with two white people who I watch daily and who I love their perspective, but I've yet to see a Black trans perspective. I don't even hear the words Black trans come out of the white trans people's mouths. And so I'm going to stop talking now because I would like to be engaged honestly because I have tried and tried, but I have not gotten a direct, honest answer. I'm sorry, this is
Well,
a very
yeah,
long-winded
as the person who
question.
runs the line, I can give you a few things. First of all, I wasn't purposefully avoiding the word black. As far as myself, if you were concerned about that, the notes I have are why are white people and white queers so averse to dark-skinned trans people? Probably implies black, but that's what I have in here is dark-skinned trans
Sorry,
people as my notes.
would like to say I added black. I said dark skin black, but it's a
Yeah,
very
yeah. So on
distinct.
my end, I was introducing the thing, and when I see dark skinned, I don't necessarily directly associate just to black, because obviously, like, there are a lot of other dark skins. But either way, as far as why you haven't seen it on here, it hasn't been for a lack of trying. We have certain methods by which we vet and decide who comes on, and we have extended invitations. I'm not going to list off any creators because I also don't care to send people to those creators and ask them or get them to feel any pressure because we've asked them. And generally, the answer we got, that I would say there's one creator who we have a general sense of like, yeah, eventually I would like to do that, and we check in periodically, and it's not something that they're ready to do. But the biggest thing is that there aren't a lot, maybe there are more than I know of, and they just haven't come across my field of vision. And when it comes to the individual shows, I actually don't book much of the shows anymore. However, from my own network of people I had built up before here, before doing the line and call-in shows, there aren't a lot of black women, black trans women, or black trans men who do debate shows. There are, however, those creators, and the main one who I was talking to a long time about it was very, very nervous about it, and ultimately decided she didn't want to do it because in her mind it was going to become, on your platform I will be perceived as the person speaking for, I essentially will be the ambassador for black trans people. And I told her that's 1000% fair because that is exactly how you'll be perceived. And honestly, that's probably exactly, that's probably true. And so when you're asking a person, it's a thing that I discovered not with just trans people, black trans people, but people of color generally. Doesn't even have to be trans people of, but certainly with trans creators. Anytime we're approaching anybody and we have the discussion, I'm very straightforward with them ahead of time. Where I say, just so you know, by being a part of this group, you're going to get a lot of people calling in as though you speak for black people broadly, or Latino people broadly, or XYZ or whatever. And I make sure, because we've had that experience, that they both know what is likely to happen and what the experience of some of the people who have come on before. But unfortunately, you know, if there are people that you think we should be paying attention to, another thing we don't do, despite what people who contact us wish, we do not launch a person's platform, even if we really, really like that person. And that the stakes of doing that go way up when you're talking about trying to bring somebody to represent essentially a minority. And it's not a matter of like, because we built our platform and there are people who don't have a platform who I would love to give a platform to if that's what they want. However, it's been a tried and true process of, if you do that to people, you only think you know what you're signing on for by becoming a public figure. And if we bring somebody on who hasn't been a public figure before, or doesn't have already some size, hasn't built up some, doesn't know how much work it takes to sustain and maintain and everything, it often ends up being a terrible mental health
well, of course,
situation.
I'm not calling in to apply, but I am hearing. Oh no, I understand. I'm just
Sure.
hearing this is how you do things and why I haven't seen it. But
Yep.
I have been watching political videos for years, and that of course does not qualify me to do anything, but it does qualify me to, of course, speak on the issues in my community and how they are affecting me and my community. And so that is why I am calling in, because there is no voice. And that's why maybe I could call in more often, because there is just a lack of it. There's just a very empty space. And I don't know how other Black people feel, but that is another issue that I have, is that
Sure.
even with my white partner, is that when I watch these people every day, I'm watching white people. I'm not watching people. I'm watching white people. So you get to speak for whatever communities you choose to represent. But of course, when you have black people on, they have no choice because that's how white people see with them seeing themselves as the default person. That is how they are going to view every other person, and that is just even more unfair. The black
I agree.
trans community who need people to
Yep.
speak for them. And it just really like it upsets me because I watch shows like The Majority Report. I've watched The Humanist Report, and of course I watch The Line. And I love all of these shows and I love all of these talking points, but someone who I have been so grateful for and like thank God is Javon Bradley.
Mm-hmm.
Javon Bradley, he has his own platform and he is, I love the way that he debates and of course interacts with transphobes and MAGA people, but even he can't speak for black trans people and even he really doesn't say the word black or trans, like, and often, like, unless he's just trying to get a good, a good faith talking point off. And this is why I'm calling in. I've been wanting to call into those shows forever, but my life is so hectic that this is just now the time I've been able to. And I'm even dripping sweat with anxiety now because it's like, I probably am the only black trans woman you've talked to in a while. And
No,
that
that's
is
not true.
saying something.
You're not even the only black trans woman I've
On the
talked to
call?
this week. Sure, on a
On the
call.
call?
I don't know. I can't tell you when the last time a black trans woman is called in. But as far as talked to, that's definitely not. You're not the only black trans woman
Yeah,
I've talked
that's
to this week.
that's kind of what I'm referring to. I don't.
Okay.
I'm not. Please do not assume that I think anything about your life because I have picked at people and something I will. This is off topic. But I will say this because there are other people watching. I do not like it, and I hate it when white people get defensive, and even Asian people. I had an interaction with an Asian person with someone, and I asked them directly, does it ever occur to you that there are no dark-skinned black people in your friendship circles? And they said, doesn't it count that someone is Korean and I'm Chinese? And I'm like, no, it's not the same thing. And then they did not reply.
Where would this come into the response that I just said?
It's coming to the response that you said that I'm referring to, like, I don't want you to, bring up, I know this black trans woman, I know this one, because I am speaking from a place where I only know the face value. I see what I see. Yeah. I see white people on your channel. So I have no idea who's in your life.
And you're quite correct about that this is a gap in representation. This representation is something that we would like to account for. However, it is going to be the case that if a person says the sentence to me, I'm probably the only black trans woman you've talked to in a while you then clarified after I said on a call, that's fine, but I am going to correct if somebody says something that is objectively wrong, because it would have been wrong to leave it there. Now, as far as on a call goes, this show also isn't really, while we've taken your call, so clearly if a person does want to call in, we're willing to engage. I don't actually know why a lot of black trans women would call this show, since this show is actually directed at people who are wanting to debate the existence of trans people or something. So where I would say the call system comes in, or where the call-in shows come in, where I would like to see representation expand is if we find a creator who does meet all of those requirements that we've talked about before, all of the things we do, both for our safety and their safety, to make sure a person is ready. The place I would love to see that representation is in the screen above me where Luxander is now. I don't think I would gauge how progressive or how good we are doing on this topic based on what percentage of people who we do support call in to a show that is actually for debate.
Yes, that's why I did clarify, and that's why I didn't call in to debate. I called in for a conversation, but of course, the shows I watch, there aren't really much spaces for conversation. That's why I wanted to talk to a more professional white person, and of course, another trans person who is also white. And that is why I didn't call the Majority Report. That is why I didn't call Javon Bradley, because I'm asking for your perspective and your thoughts on why this may be the case, especially from the, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the trans person on the call.
I'm Luxander.
From
Hi.
her.
Sorry, I've been mostly quiet this whole time. Luxander,
Yeah,
Luxander.
Oh, Luxander.
Yeah.
Okay, forgive me.
You're
I'm
good.
sorry. But yes, and that is especially why, I would more likely like to speak to her, or at least hear her opinion. But
them or it are their pronouns.
Please forgive me. I am just
we should probably
anxious, and I just called in.
I never introduce myself with my pronouns. I always forget.
Yes, I just saw trans, and I just oh, me. But
yeah,
please forgive me.
Can I respond? Is this a good time for me to jump in?
Well, yeah, I don't want to take up too much time anyway. So yes, please.
Yeah.
We can wrap
so
this
first
up.
of all, I really do think that I would get a lot of value if you have time to call on Takis sometime in November. It's like a little bit earlier than this show. I know sometimes people are working during that time, so maybe it's a little bit not accessible. But I personally, I think that like our channel hits a lot of things that like are culturally not as connected with broadly the Black community. And so like a Black trans person is going to be.
I just remembered? I'm so sorry,
sure.
Because I'm not going to be able to focus. Because Jenny said it, and I want to say this. I do recognize the show for debate, and I watch this for debate. And that is why I don't expect people to come in and say, oh, I love the show, even though I do love the show. But that is what I meant to say and convey, is that there aren't many Black trans people in mainstream media, in leftist media at all. There's Cat Black, and the list is done. And that is kind of what I was referring to, that there are, I don't see Black trans faces on my screen. That is what I meant. Not as though you don't have them in your life. Now I'm fully done, because I feel as though I was going to create a quarrel like within my mind, like an issue in my own head if I didn't get that out. Now I'm listening, focused. Please forgive me.
Yeah, you're good. So I would really benefit from ongoing conversations, like me personally and me as a member of a community. I would benefit greatly from more conversations about how we can kind of like reintegrate the community, because like, okay, so Black trans people have absolutely every reason to not feel comfortable in white dominated queer spaces. And then most queer spaces are going to just naturally be white dominated because of, population controls, or not population control, population metrics. So like, just because there are a lot of white people. And so I want to be open for Black trans people to want to be a member of the community. And I want to be able to like reach out and bridge those gaps. I just don't really know how to do that as a white person without it being like I'm, invading Black people's spaces or something along those lines. But like in a kind of, so Black women struggle with employment. Black women are going to struggle in the public eye more than usual. And then also we are specifically like a secular humanist organization. And a lot of Black folks are very religious. It's quite difficult specifically for Black non-believers, to the point where there are specific Black non-believers groups. So yeah, we're just struggling with a lot of like understandable get the fuck out of my face from the Black community and Black trans people. Y'all have like much worse times as far as like finding employment and everything. And I want to talk about those conversations without speaking over folks. So it's just like, we have to do a better job of creating spaces where y'all feel welcome to at least call in. And I suggest call in on Takis, because we do more orient around like just let's have some conversations about the trans
I'm
community
not
and
gonna
how we
lie.
can.
I thought that's what
Yeah.
I was doing.
Oh,
I thought
sorry.
it
Yeah,
was on
no.
Thursdays.
We do this one after Takis. One flows into the other. So if you call in like an hour or two earlier, we'll be on the transatlantic show.
Yeah, I never host.
Okay, thank
We
you.
we
Yeah, we don't have
actually
cis people host the trans show.
prohibit cis hosts on
I wouldn't
the.
have called if I knew that. I'm so sorry, Jenny.
Yeah,
It's all good.
it's okay.
It's a valid enough question to ask me though, since I would understand a Black trans woman worried that we are suffering the same for the same reason, a shortcoming of Black trans host, wanting to ask the person who owns the channel, because it's unlikely that the many trans people who work here are the problem, or at least less likely. I understand you wanting to ask me that question. Would it be surprising?
Thank you for engaging with me. It feels like
course.
very warming and welcoming, because I have talked to many individual white people because I'm an online content creator. That's what I do. So I see the way these people interact, and it irks me. So I had to, of course, talk to someone on a professional level who actually answered. Thank you.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Michaela.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
You have a good day.
Goodbye.
Bye. I've got some things to check before we move on. But MAGA, you're who we want to talk to. You're who we want to hear from. MAGA, we want to hear your position on trans issues. And again, I'm also interested in hearing your position on non-trans issues such as why you are dancy today.
I'm so fucking tired. I'm having a terrible week.
MAGA, why are you willing to, why are you supportive of not trans people, everybody, all people losing their SNAP benefits when it is the Republicans who are doing, like, why are you okay with the Republicans taking SNAP benefits away? I'm not even necessarily asking, we can talk about whether SNAP should be utilized generally if you think that but surely you are not such a monster, or perhaps you are, and this is what you should defend, that you believe everybody who is on SNAP today should just suddenly not have access it tomorrow with no warning, with no adequate warning to be able to even try harder to find a job, account for it, that we're counting on their representatives to find a solution. And mind you, a good number of people on SNAP, it's not as though they aren't getting to work as soon as they can. That's actually how SNAP works. SNAP is restricted to, you can only get it for 3 months over a 3-year period unless you are of the group who straight up can't work. So you're literally talking about people who have work restrictions or can't work. The idea that any of them shouldn't have access to a program like SNAP is already crazy. But I'd love to hear your defense of why it's okay that the Republicans, because it is the Republicans, independent of funding the government, the Republicans are 100%. I don't care what side you come on who owns the shutdown. The shutdown is actually unrelated to the SNAP point. While opening the government and funding a bill could fund SNAP, that isn't the only way. 100%. This is the Republicans. The Republicans are denying people SNAP. And I'm waiting to hear from you whether or not that actually is your position, that this is okay, and why what Republicans are doing is okay. What about you, Lux? Who would you like to talk to? And by the way, the phone number's right there. If you want to be that Republican, 33654-32101.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I would like to talk to, there's somebody in the chat who said, like, what is a woman? You know, you could call in with your loser ass opinions. It's interesting watching people talk about SNAP, and people, you know how like the multiple terms for things trips people up so much. It's like, people are losing their EBT. And it's like, bitch, you are on EBT. Just because you call it food stamps doesn't, like, just the fact that people, it's like literally shooting themselves in the foot and they just have no idea that they're doing it. I
wanted you to lose your health care, not my SNAP. Or your, never mind. You wanted you to lose food stamps, not my SNAP. They did that with health care.
The MAGA,
I wanted Obamacare to go away, not the ACA. I didn't know my ACA was going. Kill Obamacare, but keep your hands off my ACA.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yep. Bum. All right. I will briefly, while we're screening other calls. Hey, Jacob, we don't even need your name tag for this. It's going to be so short. What were you told? When were you told to call back? On Sunday.
Is this Crooked Jimmy?
Okay, bye. You're going to start that dishonestly? Is this Crooked Jimmy? Jacob is the person who wants to cherry pick studies. And by the way, his new one that he wants to go with is a Swedish one that basically did a follow-up study that did link access to surgery as improved outcomes. It's funny because he's going to complain about how he doesn't even get to speak on the air, but he literally tried to come on and begin by poisoning the well, which he was told, because he loves to go after Javon and talk shit about Javon. I'm not taking his call without Javon anyway. Javon can take it without me. I don't give a fuck because I don't care what Jacob thinks of me, but he's constantly trying to attack Javon in comments. He's now trying to restrict it to just a study that basically claims off of a Swedish data set that in their data set, there was no improvement in anxiety outcomes and suicide outcomes by giving trans people access to trans surgery. You didn't see an improvement to it. Now, mind you, this is the person who says that the Republicans have the morally superior position on trans issues, even though in the last episode he acknowledged and accepted that Republicans are anti-trans. But he believes specifically on treatment for children, which this was also not a part of, this study that he's bringing up is not a part of, and also subsequent studies, because this is his point, the point he cherry picks, subsequent studies that accounted for shortfalls that the previous study may have found have not come to the same conclusion, nor does the surgery claim, or does the study claim that surgery is harmful. He is only trying to say that because of this one study, you can't claim that people's mental health outcomes, when it only affects, by the way, it was only going after anxiety-related, disorder-related things and suicide attempts. Your mental health outcomes are not improved just because you have access to surgeries. Again, by the way, I'm familiar with the study, even the authors in the study, but he's only read the abstract. And so he just quotes one thing from the abstract. And what he isn't aware is that the authors very explicitly caution about the limitations in their data, and basically say that this does not mean that it is disadvantageous to have surgery. And so, yeah, it's really funny. And by the way, going with having access to surgery, gender affirming things, and only going with a very limited population because it was only Sweden, and not accounting for the differences also of acceptance and the cultural acceptance of a person based on how they pass and the like. It's just funny. It's just like you are a joke of a caller, and we know what you're up to. Like, it's not impressive. We will take this next call, but I'm gonna wait for Luxander to get back. Luxander had to step away for a minute. I'm gonna wait for Lux. So John, if you will just wait on hold. But Jacob, that's what you're going to meet here. It just is what it is. You don't have to delete his messages. I'm sure he's in there whining. I'm sure he's in there whining about stuff, but oh really? Someone said Jacob said to me on Discord that he thinks the only reason Lux identifies as non-binary is to keep their job on the line. He should talk to them about it. That actually would have been good to have him talk to Lux about. If I had known that I actually would have probably let through, because Lux was non-binary. And by the way, Lux and I disagree on, it's not major things, but on a few things related to the trans issue, related to trans issues. They're not significant, very few things. I mean, somebody will cancel you about anything, but we actually disagree on a couple things. Still brought Lux on. And Lux has been non-binary since I've known them, which is for how long now? Like fucking forever? 7 years? 8 years? So that's a very interesting hypothesis, since Lux was brought on after years of consistently identifying as non-binary. Was brought on having known me for years, but you believe that for the year they would have changed their mind in that year and not been non-binary anymore if it wouldn't put their job here at risk, which also implies more, as though if a trans person who worked here, their gender identity changed and they actually were non-binary or gender fluid, and then they were like, you know what, I'm so consistently finding my euphoria in this sector that I'm going to go back to just identifying as my assigned at birth. And I'll probably, if somebody had come and said that to me, I wouldn't fire them for it, and I'd even give them the platform to explain it if they wanted to, because gender for some people is more of a moving target than others. So I wouldn't actually care. So your theory would actually have to be that Lux secretly doesn't want to be trans, doesn't want to identify as non-binary, and also wants to be anti-trans, because that's what they would have to happen to fire them. I don't know if Lux, if you heard the comment, but apparently
I'm only pretending to be non-binary to keep my job.
It's crooked, Jimmy. Yeah, that you're only pretending to be non-binary to continue working at the line. Mm-hmm. So it's really, really interesting.
Yeah, I'm definitely faking the sexual dysfunction that I'm experiencing in my 30s. Totally.
It's funny because what I brought up is we've known each other now for like a fifth of my life.
Yeah.
Crazy?
Yeah, it's wild.
For 1/5 of my life, you and I have known each other. Wow, that really does kind of put it in a weird.
Are we going off of 8 years? I don't even remember what year it was.
It was no sooner. I don't think I started until 2018, but we met pretty quick after I started.
It was like you had 700 subscribers on, I think, this channel, which was the original Mr. Atheist channel. Yeah. 700.
Yeah. Back in the day. So the crisis you saw on my face wasn't because I'm worried about knowing you for 20% of my life. I'm worried about being a YouTuber for 20% of my life.
I know.
If I'm still YouTubing at 56, that'll be half my life doing it. We'll find out. Stay tuned. Hey, make sure you hit subscribe now to find out if I make it to, let me do it like I'm Mr. Beast. Hey, make sure you hit that subscribe button now if you want to find out if I make it to 50% of my life as a YouTuber. That wasn't quite Mr. Beast. Didn't sound like a capitalist, poverty porn creating.
You have to have
creator.
The dead face right here. No engagement of any of these muscles when you're talking or smiling. Just completely.
Because what I need is algorithm, and algorithm is all I need. Also,
your eyebrows are too in it.
My upper lip is too existent. Also, I'll never get it. Mr. Beast, boy, I'm sure glad those charitable things he does for tons of clicks and billions of dollars.
Yeah, what's the he classically has that face, like
how easily you guys are grifted. It's crazy. It's crazy. Am I glad that those people got their surgery? Sure, of course. And you guys are feeling good about their surgery instead of voting to make sure everybody gets fucking cataract surgery. Jesus fucking Christ. I can't.
Yeah.
You got to go to a call, because if I'm not careful, I'm going to say words I'm going to get canceled for. All right, John in New Jersey. John, did you call the other day from a different number? Is this a different John from New Jersey?
No, there must be two Johns from Jersey. This is my first time.
All right, fair enough.
Calling.
How's New Jersey today?
Actually, rainy. It's been raining all day since like 2 a.m.
Nice.
Oof.
That's my favorite.
Yeah. We just got past our storm, but it is breezy.
Oh yeah. It's been pretty shitty out. But
so John, did you vote for Trump?
I did.
And between 2016, 2020, and 2024, did you vote all 3 times or just 1, 2? How many times?
The past election.
Just the past one? So in 2020, who'd you vote for? Yeah. Was it Biden or was it no vote? What'd you vote?
I didn't vote.
No vote. And 2016, who'd you vote for?
Yeah. 2016, I didn't vote as well. I was kind of new to, I guess in my life, I had just started paying attention to like the political things that were going on, and it just
How old
so
are you, John?
happened that it just I'm 32.
32. Okay, so those are the only elections
30,
you would have been able to vote in anyway. So the first time you voted
yeah.
at all was in 2024. Have you voted in a midterm ever? Have you voted in local elections or only in 2024?
It's been the only time. Oh, hello? Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're here. We're here. All right, so
Yeah.
John, you started paying attention around 2016. You've only voted on any level in the 2024 election. What was it about that election that made you feel like you needed to vote when you hadn't voted prior?
Well, around COVID is when things started to shift, I guess, in my life and in the world. And prior to that, I had started paying attention a little bit to what was going on politically, and
So
Trump
what about
coming onto the
2024 made you
scene.
go, this is the time, I got to go vote?
Well, I had I I wasn't sold on. Well, let me back up a little bit. I didn't agree with a lot of Biden's term, and then when they kind of like put Harris out there, I felt like it was kind of like forced onto her, like pretty late on, and she didn't really do well, and like in my eyes, like when
What does that mean?
she
Kamala
was like
Harris
in
didn't do well.
interviews. Yeah, I felt like, or at least the way that she presented herself and the way that she would try to relate the topics or like the issues.
Okay,
I feel like maybe she also didn't have.
you weren't. It wasn't her policies that bothered you and why you wouldn't vote for her. It's not what kind of president she
Well,
would have been. It was how she presented herself.
that's initially, but then there was policies that she just when they would try to talk to her about some, she didn't really have the best way of like saying like an actual answer. It was kind of like
Okay, so again,
she
it's
would
not the
like
actual
laugh.
substance of the policy. You're describing that you didn't like her inability to be appealing when she would try to articulate her policies, which, by the way, I voted for her and feel the same way. I felt that the Democrats failed to articulate a good reason to vote for them and only focused on why not to vote for Trump. So I felt that way, but
Agreed.
I then also went and found out what the policies were and evaluated
Hmm.
between MAGA and the Kamala Harris administration, these two terrible options, are they equally terrible? Or is one significantly worse than the other in a way that I can be confident I'm at least making a better choice? So that's what I did and why I ultimately voted for Kamala Harris. It sounds like you're saying you didn't take that step. You just went on the basis of presentation, on how things are articulated, and on that basis alone, you picked Harris. If I am wrong, or you picked Trump, if I am wrong, I am excited to hear you articulate the policies you went and found and why you still were opposed to them.
Okay. So it really stemmed to just really just a couple things, and it has to do with actually like I'm not a follower. You popped up on my feed and it said debated MAGA to call.
Yeah.
I called up. It says you guys are talking about trans issues, or maybe that was, yeah, that's what it says, debated MAGA on trans. So
Okay.
that's
Is that the only thing you want to discuss? You don't want to discuss why you picked? Was Kamala Harris's policy on trans people not anything you could be okay with?
Well, it was more of, I feel like there was at least it seemed like there was more of a push on trans like ideology.
What is trans ideology?
which I'm not against or I'm not pro or against. I'm, live and let live. But for me,
well, MAGA isn't. Hang on, real quick. For the record, MAGA is not live and let live on trans issues. So when you say trans ideology, I need you to define it, because as far as I can tell, trans ideology, and I have a bona fide trans person here who can confirm or deny this. The only trans ideology I can think of is the ideology of trans people to say, we'd like to exist in polite society.
Okay.
That seems to be the only trans ideology. That is what MAGA is opposed to. So if you aren't for or against, and you're saying I'm live and let live, then you are actually anti-MAGA, because MAGA don't want to let trans people live and do their life the way they see fit, fulfill their own destiny as they feel content to do. So I'm going to need you, if you think ideology means more than that, you're going to need to define trans ideology.
Okay, I see how you would see that. So for me, I have kids. Do you have kids?
Nope.
I do.
No? Okay. So for me, it started at the school. I started seeing programs and things that were being pushed to my children.
What specifically did the program push to your children? Because I suspect the only thing you can say is push to your children. And if we investigate any more than this, we'll end up not being true. But the only thing that you're going to say was pushed to your children was the idea that trans people exist. Their identities are valid. You shouldn't bully them. You shouldn't be shitty to them. This is what their experience is like. If you're trans, these are where resources like that exist. But I don't think a single person pulled your child aside or any version of this and went, hey, kid, let's make you trans.
No, but they had a class that they showed with a bear, and this was the bear of sexuality, and how there was this fluidity between, sexualities, and just saying a lot of these, sexual things that
it
I
kind of
wasn't
sounds
comfortable
like
as a parent.
acknowledging that these people exist is somehow bad for children in your ideology, which I don't really understand. Like, pushing it sounds to me like we are educating the children about the fact that gay people exist, and the fact that they could be gay, and the fact that their classmates could be gay. Like, why is it not appropriate for children to learn what gay is when they are young enough to be bullying each other for acting gay? Like many gay people can report being bullied. They knew that they were gay. Well, I'm using gay as a stand-in for trans, and you just said that there's a sexuality bear, which kind of confused me a little bit. Maybe you mean like it's a gender fluid bear or something. But basically what you're describing is the teacher is educating the children about the society in which they live and about different types of people in society, and normalizing it because it is normal for humans to be trans. It's normal for humans to be gay because it happens all the time naturally. So it sounds like to you, trans ideology is the acknowledgement that that is a fact about the world, and that you don't think children should learn basic facts about the world that they live in.
Well, there is facts, and that occur naturally. I don't know about that. There is biology.
Can we get away from the dog? Can we get away from the dog?
Oh, yeah, hold on.
This is our only option. Yeah.
No. Is that better?
Okay. Yeah. Sure. And so you shouldn't vote based on what you don't know, as you're acknowledging you don't know if the word natural or normal applies. And it does, because you don't know if you're going to vote on an issue or vote to support or debate against an issue. You should go find out. You shouldn't have to sit there and go, I don't know. If you have good reason to say it's not normal or it is unnatural, that would be a case to bring as a point of debate. But to sit there and go, well, I don't know. I'll tell you this, though. I have this question for you, John. You have kids. Luxander has kids. You're in New Jersey. Do you believe it is up to the school or the families to be in charge of a child's sex education?
I think both, but the kids, when they get to a certain age, I think, having sex ed, which is something that I went through, is fine. And
so, John, my follow-up question is, if you did not want them to have a comprehensive sex education, which accounts for all sexual and gender identities, it isn't just, if you've got a kid who's a straight kid or cishet kid, we're only going to do it for that. They don't ask kids to identify and then go to the sex ed of their choice. They don't go like, gay kids go to that sex ed. We got to talk about butts, right? They don't. It's a general sex ed. If you didn't want your child to participate in a modern, comprehensive sex education, why did you not opt your child out of it, which in New Jersey is the law that you can opt your child out of sex ed?
We did, and they completely took the program out of the school. So
that's completely no. Those are not the same thing. Those are not the same thing. If you're saying you guys protested it and the school removed the sex ed, that's you guys kind of being assholes. I'm saying any parent who wants their children to have comprehensive sex ed should, and if you don't want them to, even though I think it is bad for your kids not to get it, you have the right to opt them out of that class. So why are you complaining about a class that either you consented to, or if it happened against your will, you opted out and they did it anyway? Then you should go sue them because they did do something wrong, but it isn't the content of the class.
No,
so which one was it?
You're putting words.
I can't put words in your mouth if I'm giving you the options and asking you to then explain which one it is. And if it's none of them, you now can explain why it's neither of those. That's not how words in your mouth work.
Okay.
If I give you a multiple choice, it's not putting words in your mouth to list off the choices. You get that, right, John?
Okay. All right. Well, you do understand that there is male and then there is female.
Yes, those are biological sexes. They are not genders.
Okay. So you're talking gender as a social construct.
Gender is a social construct.
Okay.
But a social construct doesn't mean arbitrary, made up, anybody. It doesn't mean that there's nothing going on, that there isn't anything even at the level of science, psychology, and biology that are parts of those things. It seems like people think when we say social construct, we're saying a bunch of people got around a fire with a bunch of Bud Lights and we're like, oh, let's define gender. I just think it's whatever you feel like. No one did that. And they wouldn't have sounded like that anyway. We know how those guys voted.
Yeah. Well, I think, honestly, if the messaging behind it and the, how could I say, the less extreme of how things got on both sides of the aisle.
It's not a both sides issue. Extreme isn't the extreme on the trans side was we exist. So you want them to find a middle ground with the extreme on the other side, which is no, you don't, and you're a bunch of pedophiles. That's what the extremists say. Right now, you can go across threads. Watch, they're actually trying to take away gun rights from Americans if they're trans. They want specifically trans people to not have guns. They want to take away specific rights from trans people. So as you're sitting there and going on both sides, they both got too extreme, and trans people were extreme because they went, we exist. We'd like to exist in polite society. We'd like access to healthcare. We'd like access to everything that everybody else gets. And we just want to live our fucking lives. And the other side was, we'd like you guys to not live actually like at all. Dead would be better than actually living your truth. What's the middle ground?
What's the reasonable middle ground? People lie in the middle. I think people more lie.
You just acknowledged, John, that the extreme on the trans side was I exist. That was the extreme. So are you saying when it came to the civil rights movement, John, and I don't know what race you are, but let's see if you can relate to this. back during the civil rights movement, there were people who were pro-civil rights who say black people exist and should get to exist in society. That was the extreme on that side. And the other side was, sure, black people exist, but they're happier as slaves and we should go back to that. That was the extreme on the other side. Now, should we go to a middle ground when it comes to civil rights between the people when one extreme is we exist and the other extreme is, yeah, sure, but would be better as slaves? Should we find the middle ground for that?
Middle ground isn't we exist. I mean, extreme
No, you
isn't we
acknowledge the
exist. What
extreme is
extremes
we
that
exist.
I'm talking about is the extreme push on social media platforms, online.
The push of what?
Put in sports and restrooms. This became
Okay,
a
John.
Trans people want to what in sports and what in restrooms? Is the word exist? Because if so, you just already acknowledged the extreme is exist.
No, you could acknowledge that trans exists, but
No,
the
John.
push.
It's not acknowledging whether trans people exist. If you're saying, I have a problem with trans people in sports, what you're saying is, I have a problem with trans people existing in sports. You're saying, I have a problem with trans people existing in public restrooms. That's what, like, so when you're positioning us as extreme, you're saying it's extreme. Hold on. It's extreme for a trans person to want to participate in their community. It's extreme for a trans child to want to play with their friends on the sports team. That is what you are describing as the extreme position.
No.
Yes,
the
it is.
extreme would be a biological male wanting to play sports in a biological female.
You just said what I just said, dumbass. Are you hearing yourself? This is actually infuriating. Trans people wanting to exist in sports is the problem.
Put words in our mouths and cause the
no, that's what you're fucking saying. Are you listening to yourself, John? You just said, I have a problem with quote unquote biological males in quote unquote biological female sports. So what you're saying is you have a problem with trans people in sports.
You guys are not within this.
So, John, we've just muted you because you can't help yourself. Lux was talking. I understand. Lux is not cis, so you don't respect their words as much. There's a reason why you're more keen to interrupt Lux. All you did was change the framing. We said trans people want to exist in sports. So you changed it to biological males want to exist in biological female sports, which is a different way of wording it that makes it sound bad. It isn't, but you framed it in a way that it sounds bad. And this is what it always comes down to. You voted for an anti-trans movement who wants to keep civil rights away from trans people, does not want them to exist in polite society. And if all we were talking about was a sports ban, that's what we would have led with. And we'd still be saying that's wrong. But that's not even like 1% of what the right wants to. It's funny because you'll only ever talk about sports. By the way, I know somebody in live chat got bingo because 10, 20 minutes ago, they said, when's John going to say sports? 95% of what you guys want to do to trans people, 99 has nothing to do with sports. And yet it's the only thing you talk about to justify you don't get access to healthcare. You don't get access to legal records that reflect your desires. You don't get access to a birth certificate that doesn't dead name you. You don't get to quietly get to just go to fucking poop. When in reality, the actual stats say if you are in a bathroom with a trans woman, the trans woman is the one in danger, not you. And the danger toward her is likely going to come from a cis man. Your child's not going to get attacked. The trans woman is. And if your child does get attacked, not by the trans woman, by a cis man. That's what the stats actually say. So the only things you guys say, it's all you talk about is sports. Sometimes you resort to bathroom. The stats on bathroom you have no argument on. You lose every time. So you really want to focus on sports because Riley Gaines tied 5th place with a trans person, which proves that trans people are inherently better than cis people, despite the 4 other cis women who beat the trans woman. But they have an inherent advantage. It's unfair because it's unfair. Something is unfair when a sport is unfair if a person wins it, which, by the way, was also the reason why they tried to keep black people out of sports. Literally, we've used these arguments before. It's clear. Look at how often black people are winning. That's proof that it is unfair that black people play in sports. Now I'll unmute you, John. I bet you cannot make an anti-trans argument, a justified argument for MAGA that doesn't bring up sports at all.
Or the problem is that these are the topics that are discussed in the mainstream and online. These are the topics that are highlighted. So why do you want to do so much?
Why do you want to ban more than just trans people from having access to sports?
Can I talk without being cut off, please?
If you stay on topic, if you stay on topic, now you're trying to go off on an aside. We have a show to do. We keep the show on topic. You didn't let us talk. We only let you talk. We're in control. So we're going to keep the show on topic. I don't need your diatribe, your thing off to the side, your tone policing, this is the reason why, blah, 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 blah. Stay on topic. And the topic is, what argument can you justify your vote against trans rights that does not invoke sports, since sports is not even remotely related to most of the policies your side is putting in place against trans people?
What you're doing right now, to me, is doing a complete disservice to your cause.
You think so, John?
And whatever you guys got going on, John? I have never heard of your show. I called to have a civil conversation to try to understand.
Hey, John, you've now been muted again because you can't help yourself. I don't care what lecture you have. You don't think there's value in us absolutely exposing that the only thing you have with trans people is bigotry. You don't have another argument. You failed on your education one when we revealed you had the option to opt out. And you went, oh, I won't actually answer that question now directly because I asked you it forever ago. Why didn't you? You said the thing about putting words in your mouth. I gave you a multiple choice. No, I'm not going to take any of those, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to now switch to sports because my side fucking hates trans people in sports. So I said, well, your trans people in sports thing, that is a tiny issue amongst all the things you want to do to trans people. So what can you defend outside of it, since you already clearly don't understand it, since you already had to reframe what trans people existing in sports meant to make it sound bad when it isn't? What can you actually bring to the table that isn't trans people in sports? In fact, here, John, I'll ask you a direct question. Is the only thing you want to do is ban trans people from participating in sports against the sex of the people across from what they were born as? In other words, is the only policy you want against trans people just trans people should not have access to sports?
No. And
great. So I don't care then. Let's go. Great. Trans people are banned from sports. John, you get your way. That one's done. What else do you want to do to trans people?
You see, I called to try to understand. I didn't realize I was calling.
That beep was you being muted again. I don't care about the lectures. Are you going to stay on topic and answer the questions, or are you going to whine? Now I'll unmute you again. Are you going to answer the question? You're opting out?
Your first question.
Yes. Why didn't you opt out of the sex ed for your kids?
We did. And it ended up
great. And what harm was done to you?
A collective agreement. Excuse me?
And what harm was done to you? Then why are you complaining that that happened when your kids weren't exposed to it?
Because it was still being pushed in other schools and
not to your kids.
The United States.
Not to your kids, places where other parents can opt out too. Your kids are handled. My kids, when I have them, will be allowed to have comprehensive sex ed, because the best thing about comprehensive sex ed isn't just that it teaches you who's exist. Right now, if you're not letting your kids have sex ed, you will, on average, it will be several more years if they're being sexually abused by somebody and you don't know, that they will even have the language to tell somebody that that is happening. So that's actually That's actually the trade-off. Right now, if your kids are being abused, there's a higher chance they won't even know how to articulate it or identify it for years to come because you opted them out. If you're not giving them comprehensive sex ed yourself, if they're just going in.
At the home.
No. Great. I hope you're actually doing a good job at home. Unfortunately, I think you're probably teaching them to be bigots. So you said you did opt out. Nothing's hurting you. You've had the option. Why did you need to vote against other people having the option for comprehensive sex ed for their kids?
Because, all right.
John, should I choose how you raise your kids?
Excuse me?
Should I choose how you raise your kids?
No.
Then why do you want to choose how I raise mine? If I want my kids to go to comprehensive sex ed, why should you be able to decide they can't?
Who says yours can't?
You just said that you did. You said that you guys got it taken out of the school in New Jersey and you continued to vote against it because other schools are quote unquote pushing it on kids and others, but they're not places you're going to school. They're literally not your kids. Yeah. You're claiming that was literally what you said, bud.
Yes, it is. It is what I said. And I mean, after a certain age, it wouldn't
Why
be a
do you
problem.
got to decide what age my kids get sex ed?
You want to start teaching your kids and at 6 years old and have them start thinking being.
Excuse me, John.
It prevents them from being
abused.
You
haven't taught your kids what genitals are by 6 years old. You're a fucking dog shit parent. Of course, I wanted my kids to have gotten introductory sex ed by 6 years old. Are you fucking kidding me? If they don't know what their penis is, so they don't know that it's weird if somebody else is fucking with it. Are you fucking kidding me, John? Of course I would give my kids sex ed, what is appropriate for a 6-year-old by 6 years old. You're sitting here laughing, bragging that you have set your kid up that if he or she are abused, they are not going to know that is what is happening. Why are you laughing at that? You're a fucking monster.
You guys have 351K subscribers. Oh, you guys are doing pretty good for your show.
So now what you're doing is, all right, so John, we're just going to mute you again. So now what you're doing is going, do I even need to take this place seriously? By the way, between all channels, we get about 5 million views a month. What are you going to do now? Oh, these guys out here. Oh, what are they? Now I'm going to see if I can discredit them by going like, man, you guys only have, oh shit, they have a lot of subscribers. Oh shit, they have a lot of views. Oh, fuck. Over 1,000 people are literally listening to this phone call right now. Over 1,000 people are listening that I don't think a fucking 6-year-old should know what their penis is. Jesus fucking Christ. John, you should be, I promise you, I'm going to go out of my way to make sure I'm a better father than you are, because you are fucking failing apparently. John, last thoughts before we're moving on.
And the reason why you wonder why they want to give trans people guns. Listen to the way that
if trans people guns, you mean take away trans people's guns. But I know why you guys want to take away trans kids and other kids' sex ed. Because if that had happened, this whole Epstein mess with Donald Trump would have never come out. Those little girls might not have known what was happening to them. Not giving kids sex ed and power predators, which is the whole MAGA's thing.
You know we don't like Biden, right? You know that we don't like Biden, right? You know that we don't support Biden.
Yeah, fuck Biden in his fucking face. I put Biden in prison right next to Trump.
Okay. Well, you're just making a lot of assumptions.
I literally called because I thought it was a conversation, not a dog pile.
I just want to be totally straightforward with you, John. I really like it when people call me and they really truly respect my expertise on the subject of transgender people. That happens all the time. I had several calls earlier today that were completely educational. They had some disagreements, but we told them, like, here's the facts, here's where you can go search that information out and confirm what we've said. And we got we made progress with people. You have not entered this conversation like a person learning or a person seeking to learn. So that's why, this probably feels more adversarial, because we keep bringing up points and you go, nah, or we bring up a point and you shift to another point. And it's really fucking annoying and difficult to have a conversation with somebody who is not keeping on topic with us.
Hey, John, I have a question.
Sure.
What is the top part of the penis called? It looks like the mushroom part. What is that called?
I don't know. Why don't you enlighten me?
It's called the
Is that real?
glands.
Do you
know where I
actually
learned
not?
that? Sex ed. Jesus fucking Christ. You don't know
Why'd you
what
ask
the
me the
head of your
question?
penis is called,
Are you
and we should
kidding
take
me?
your opinion seriously on sex ed.
And you're so angry. And
Oh, John, I don't even. John, you couldn't make me sweat if you wanted to. What you guys mistake for anger because you are so emotionally unregulated is such a fucking joke. John, I have no much left for you because you've completely invalidated your own argument here by not knowing what the tip of the penis is called. Like, who the fuck would want a model that you are the person who knows how much sex ed a person should have? Because I was thinking about it and I was sitting there going like, does he know he has a penis? Did no one tell him that along his life? I'm presuming because it'd be fucking wild if you turned out to be trans. That would be the twist of the goddamn century. Anyway, John, so my parting words for you is, despite what you might think, PP is not stored in the balls. My best of luck to you, and may whatever God you believe in have mercy on your soul.
Truly.
Chase in North Carolina. Chase, you're calling in. It looks like you want to talk about sports too, so I have to ask, when it comes to trans people, is their access to sports the only thing you would restrict? Everything else you're good with?
The reason I called in is because when I first seen your live, that was what the discussion was, and so that's
Sure.
I'm willing to talk about more outside of that, but that's the main reason I called.
Yeah, the thing is, John, Chase, as I kind of articulated to the other caller, unless that is the only thing you are interested in, it seems to me that every issue of restricting trans people's access to something, healthcare, community, whatever it is, bathrooms, is a much, much, much bigger issue. And when it comes to sports, what it really comes down to is, do you accept whether or not trans women are women? Of course, you're conservative. You don't. So you don't believe they should be in women's sports, even if we have all the scientific evidence in the world that for most sports, these things can be mitigated. There isn't an unfair advantage any more than athletes just generally have advantages. There's a reason why. Chase, are you a professional athlete?
Not at all.
Yeah, me neither, because neither of us were born with genetic advantages. Okay, are we on speaker? Why do I hear myself repeating as though there's a pillow over my face? Somebody's stimulating what it might be like.
I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, if you can maybe turn it down a little bit.
Headphones.
Turn them down. Turn your volume down a little, so maybe it'll repeat back in. It seems to me that the sports thing, I think this is the best way I've finally figured out how to articulate it, because it's not just that I don't care about sports. And therefore I don't care about trans people in sports. It is actually the case that it's not a matter of sports. It's that sports is the least of which you would do to them. So why is it always the conversation? So Chase, tell me, if otherwise you would give them access to everything, we'll do sports. But if not, let's do one of those issues.
Well, before we start this conversation, I don't want you to put me in the same category as you said. That's all I will do. I understand that you probably deal with a lot of adversarial people a lot, but just I wouldn't put myself in. You don't know what my beliefs are on the matter yet. So
that's fine. Chase, did you vote for Trump?
To be fair.
Yeah, let's do some exploration. Chase, did you vote for Trump?
In his first run, yes. The other two times I did not vote at all.
No vote. Okay.
In 2016, I voted for Trump, but not in the last two elections. No, I did not want to choose between Trump and Kamala.
Kamala.
So
you voted Trump in the first one. So all you did in the last two were let whoever won get elected. You let Biden get elected in 2020 without any action in opposition. You let Trump get elected in 2024. But we can't say you're necessarily enthusiastic about Project 2025 and their destination for trans people. Now, do you know what Project 2025 has for trans people in it?
Not fully, no, I don't. And I'm not necessarily excited about Project 2025 either. I feel like it's pretty radical myself, even as a conservative.
Does it bother you that it's been more than 40% completed and right now has another 20 to 40? Does it bother you that it's 40% completed and has another 20 to 40% in active work right now?
What exactly has gone through so far in Project 2025? Like what parts of it? I'm not saying it's, I'm trying to argue. I'm genuinely curious.
Yeah. Do you want just related to trans people or do you want broadly?
We can do both if you don't mind. Broadly.
Which would you like first?
I would say broadly. Sure. We'll go broadly.
So broadly, we're going to see the expansions of the executive power. They're doing this through different Supreme Court shit. Actually, a great broad example that at least brings it to the queer issue was another step towards something that happened yesterday. In Texas, the Supreme Court ruled that judges may reject queer couples getting married. And of course, this following a Project 2025 playbook, people go like, oh, well, that's Texas, so you can't say that's broad. The whole reason to do that is so they get sued. And then it's going to go to the Supreme Court, where the current conservative Supreme Court is going to take away that. And that's just the first step toward just no gay marriage, but first making it harder to get gay married. Basically, it's like abortion. If you make it a situation where if you're in a poor area, you're less likely to have access, it's effectively a ban. Poor queer people are going to essentially be banned from getting married because if you are in a poor area, you more likely have a Republican judge assessing. They're more likely to turn you down. And so only if you have the ability to contribute will you be able, or rather only if you have the ability to, the resources to travel, will you still have access to gay marriage. So that would be just a thing that happened literally yesterday because every day things are happening. But if you look what happened across the federal websites, taking away a ton of resources of how to get help for certain people, taking away, is it 611, 711? Which one was the queer hotline? 211? There was a suicide hotline, federal funded specifically for queer people. They have defunded that and ended that program, even though when you are a queer person you are suicidal, the odds that you are suicidal because of queer issues, because of how the community treats you around you, means you probably need to talk to somebody more relative to that expertise, and sending them to a general helpline is crazy. And we know that because we also have specific helplines for other groups of people like veterans and the like, but queer people don't get theirs anymore. Title IX, basically lying about DEI, what DEI is, the crackdowns on immigration, being very forcefully expanding executive power and basically using military power against our cities while doing a whole propaganda campaign to claim that it is war-ridden so we can prepare for something martial law-like in the future. How many more things would you like? Because we can keep going and going and going.
Well, I would be against the first issue for sure, about as far as them outlawing queer marriage or trying to take the steps to do that. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. As far
I only wish you knew all the things in Project 2025, so maybe you would have voted against it in 2024.
Still think not to get on the Kamala topic, but I still don't think I would have voted for Kamala. But
if I can be a big boy and vote for Kamala because I'm voting against Trump and not because I like her, I think you could have too.
I wouldn't want to. I just would not want to vote for Kamala Kamala. Why would I not?
No, you're right the first time. Why, when I'm laying out what Project 2025 is, the Trump administration, what was it about Kamala Harris's campaign, which at best you could say was a status quo campaign, except for was going to get good tax credits to people who make less than $400,000 a year, was going to get some pretty good small business credits, first time home buyer credits, build more housing, that kind of shit. Like, there's actually some pretty positive things, but otherwise very run-of-the-mill status quo. Things won't get worse, but they're not going to get much better either. Why would you not vote for that over Project 2025, which is an ideological nuclear bomb of be a white cis het Christian male, or otherwise the country will become very uncomfortable for you?
Well, my problem with my problem with against Trump, and the reason that I did not vote for him was because I don't like the whole cult aspect behind it. I would agree that many Republicans and conservatives in general don't find no fault in him, and many other things. The Epstein,
so you decided not to
like
vote
that, the
to prevent a cult leader from becoming our
I haven't
president?
got to my. I haven't.
Well, I wanted to ask
time.
that.
I just try to finish so y'all can factually hear my point.
Oh, because you just said he's a cult leader and that you didn't try to do everything you could to make sure he didn't become the president of this country. So that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, because I actually haven't gotten to the point where I didn't want to go for her. And I don't feel like it's a full cult. I don't like the cult-like behavior between many of his followers. And I was caught up in the wind in 2016. I was fully bought on. And there's just many things over time. It's hard to pinpoint exactly one that pushed me away.
Okay, so get to the Kamala thing, since you said you haven't gotten to it yet. Go ahead and get to why Project 2025 and the cult is still better than Harris.
Why? So, for one, we were lied to going into it a lot about Project 2025. Like me, who followed a lot of conservative media, I wanted to believe a lot of the
stuff that they've accomplished 40% of it. So how is it lying?
Wait, who are you saying lied? Are you saying Trump lied?
Yeah.
Or the Democrats lied about Project 2025?
No, a lot of the conservative media lied about the extent, especially if what you're telling me is true.
Okay, cool. Sorry.
So now give me why Kamala Harris, because you said still today you wouldn't vote for Harris over Trump. So today, what was so bad that I'm further away ideologically, because you and Harris are still both capitalists. I'm not. So I'm much further away from Harris ideologically than you are, and yet I still voted for her because she was the lesser of two evils despite the fact that I knew she was still going to serve billionaires and still be a capitalist shill piece of shit. She was still a lesser evil, and that cult stuff, the fact that he's probably a pedophile, all that kind of shit really bugged me, as well as Project 2025. So today, knowing what you know now, knowing how hard he has fought against getting the Epstein files out, knowing that tomorrow SNAP is going to expire and he could literally sign without the Congress's approval allocations of discretionary funds to make sure people aren't just suddenly foodless. Why would you still pick Kamala Harris or pick Trump over Kamala Harris, or at least say wouldn't be able to bring yourself to vote for Harris to try and prevent Trump today?
Maybe I misspoke, knowing everything I know now, but it's hard to do that because we don't know where we would be under Kamala. I mean, well, how is it pronounced properly? I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
Kamala,
the thing,
Kamala Chameleon.
Kamala, I got it.
Something like that.
I got it. So, from Kamala, one of the things that just really pushed me away is just watching her speak. She can't hold an interview. She doesn't answer direct questions. As far as policies, I didn't hear any. I didn't hear any concrete things that she would do. I agree.
So you prefer Donald Trump's concrete lies?
And be able to.
Chase, to tell you the truth, whenever I hear this, I'm going to ask a very insensitive question. First, Chase, well, how old are you?
I'm 29.
What race are you?
I'm white.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know why that matters personally, but
I'll tell you why. Because that is what it comes down to.
What have I said to you? What have I said to you that's so radical that you just knew I was a white man? Like, I'm confused.
So Chase, I wouldn't say I know, because the fact of the matter is, if you talk to black women, they will tell you they actually have difficulty getting black men to take them seriously too. In fact, if you were to put rungs of our society of who is treated the best, black women are only treated better than trans black women, and that's it. As far as who is respected the most, who is desired to be in different positions of power. And when your reasoning for, I knew Trump was lying, the Epstein stuff, all that kind of stuff. But when I heard Kamala talk, I didn't like the way she presented it, when she absolutely did have at least some substance. Yes, she did. In fact, she wrecked him at the debate.
What substance?
Chase, did you watch the debate? I'm happy to answer this. I've got several examples. Did you watch the debate? Great. She wrecked him. She absolutely wrecked him and pointed out every lie. So if you want the where's her substance in and pointing out why the opposition's so bad, it's there. And then when it came to her speeches, while not enough, as I already said to the previous caller, she was not good enough and the Democrats were not good enough at acknowledging the pain of citizens and then telling you what they would do. she did speak about policy. She did speak about home buyers credits. She did speak about different things to try and bring inflation down, different things to make your cost of living come down. A huge one being expanding housing and making sure that housing was that housing costs would come down, because that's going to make a dramatic cut into cost of living, which is going crazy. She absolutely, in fact, it's funny because it seems like when you say, you're not MAGA, clearly, but when I talk to MAGA people, they either go with she had nothing, or I am aware of one or two things she said, but she stole those ones from Trump. It seems to be that people like you mostly heard her and saw that clip repeating of her laughing at her own joke too much, which she did. She laughed at her own joke too much, and her voice is kind of shrill, and that's why you didn't vote for her. That's what it seems to come down to. And Chase, if you're saying you're an informed voter, why did it matter? Why did it matter if she didn't say it? You're literally talking to us on a device that has all the information in the world. So as you're evaluating, this guy is really cult-like. Maybe I could pull up KamalaHarris.com and read her platform, even if you've never heard it.
Hey, I don't think that anything on her. I don't think anything in her platform is literally her. I don't think nothing in her platform was her. I don't think that anything she has is a substance at all.
I don't care about your vibes. A continued Biden administration would have been the worst you got, and that would have been better than what we're getting now in Trump expanding the federal power, expanding the executive power, becoming a militarized state, changing the Department of Defense to the Department of War, and again, Project 2025. So I don't care whether or not you knew he was a liar and a cult leader, but you're saying she's not passing my vibe check. I rolled a D20. It came up 4.
For like you said a minute ago, you said you chose between the lesser of two evils. I don't feel like that's a choice. That was, in your opinion, the lesser.
Well, because here's the thing.
I don't know who's controlling
there is a difference. The lesser of two evils is a big difference when one of those evils has sent the military into American cities, and the other one would have just continued sending bombs to Gaza, but everything else would basically have been the same here, except, we might have actually emboldened the middle class a little bit with those tax benefits too. It's so crazy to hear somebody say that she doesn't have any firm policy positions when I was watching the debate and got so mad when she said she was pro-fracking and pro-expanding domestic oil production. Yeah. She clearly had strong policy positions that she asserted herself.
On that as well.
Yeah, no shit. Donald Trump was a Democrat years ago.
So there's no
Donald Trump is flip-flop since his last
term.
People are dying right now and being sent to work camps in countries that they have never been to before. And so, that is what we're talking about when it's okay, are you saying you still would not vote to prevent all of this harm? It just feels real weird, honestly. That your general vibes-based dislike for a black woman is the reation why you're going to condemn millions of people to lose their SNAP benefits.
Yeah, let's be honest,
dude. I never said anything about her race, and I tried to already point that out one time.
No. That's what we're saying.
I don't think you're even consciously aware that the racism was there. In fact, I think you're in denial about it. It's a thing you're have to actively
I don't like her.
check.
See, that's what pushes me off. See, I've recently. I'm
going to push you away from what? Not voting again?
No,
I'm not going to vote for her in the first place.
No, I would love to be more informed. I would love to be more informed.
I love that too.
I wanted to start this off and tell y'all that I would love to be able to finish. So just talking to y'all, I don't know if I said this to start or not. I've never spoken to anybody about politics a lot. I just kind of follow it. I'm not super informed. I never claim to be at all. I've listened to it periodically, but this is my first time ever talking publicly. It's embarrassing that I'm not deep into politics.
It should embarrass you. You should feel embarrassed by that.
It should embarrass you that you're admitting that you're not very informed, and yet you ever voted.
Because I'm not super informed because I don't follow this stuff. I work 12-hour days, and I'm a blue collar guy. I just work, and I follow it occasionally. I listen to stuff here. No, I don't necessarily agree.
Guy.
I shouldn't be super informed on everything that's going on.
Even if you voted in your self-interest, Kamala Harris would have been better for you. She would have been better for unions. She would have been better for your wages. The Republicans aren't talking about raising minimum wage. They're talking about abolishing it. It should embarrass you to say you're not informed. You have all of the information in the world in your hand. It should. No, I know. I'm not talking about what you are. I'm talking about what you should be. You should be embarrassed. It bums me out that you're not.
Well,
and if you're going to sit here and basically say, this is
like,
what's pushing me
why
off,
should I say that?
and if you're sitting here and going, this is what pushes me off, you guys are going to hurt my feelings into a point of not voting the right way next time too. Like, what should we do with that? Really? Like, facts don't care about your feelings, bud. As my boy says.
Oh, Ben Shapiro, super pro Israel guy over there.
That dude's my mentor.
That's your guy.
That's it. Yeah, dude, we're best friends.
Hey, I will say this about liberals and stuff. They opened my eyes a lot about Israel a lot. Like the genocide.
No, liberals did not. Liberals didn't. I promise you, it wasn't liberals. Liberals are fucking terrible on the Middle East.
The left.
And on Gaza. Yes, thank you.
Hassan Piker. Hassan Piker.
Shout out Hassan, I guess.
Hassan just lost 5 minutes off the end of his life because you called him a liberal.
True.
Oh man, see, I'm not. Like I said, you said I should be. I'm not super informed on all this stuff. Maybe I should be. I'm not embarrassed that I'm not, but this might be an eye-opening moment that I should get more informed, for sure.
Yeah,
it would help if
Ben
more people.
Shapiro, Hassan Piker, and I are having Thanksgiving dinner together because we're biological brothers. We'll stream that talk out. Chase, I don't know what else to do with this call. Please stop becoming, if you're going to call shows especially and you're going to vote, and I hope you will vote, make your life about being informed, not about bragging that you're not.
I definitely wasn't bragging that I wasn't. I'm not embarrassed that I did not vote, but I'm not proud of the fact that I voted. I'm not proud of the fact that, actually, I am proud of the fact that I did not vote between the lesser of two evils. Even though you're probably about the dog pile saying, even though you know he was a cult leader and all this, I don't like it. If I don't have a good choice between those two, who knows where we would be right now if she was.
Chase, I don't
between.
Like y'all said, they're politicians. Politicians when they say one thing and they go and do another.
Chase, the choice that you made, or the choice that was presented to you between Kamala and Trump, was to protect your neighbors or send them to the gulag. That was the choice that you were given, and you chose to abstain. And that is a huge part of why people are now being sent to the gulag. And so I do hope that you take this opportunity to inform yourself and go, oh shit, I may have contributed to a huge amount of harm by not making sure that I'm proactive about being informed. And yes, you do have to be proactive about it. And that's kind of obnoxious and everything. But I sincerely hope that you take from this that like being informed in order to protect your neighbors and protect your own money and like not raise your own taxes and grocery prices, that this stuff is critical. It matters. It influences every single part of your life and your kids' lives and your grandma's life. So yeah, get informed and get involved.
Chase, genuinely, talking to you and trying to frame this is like trying to tell somebody that it is worse to get kicked in the balls 20 times in a row than to get 5 ant bites, but the guy also gives you some flowers and brags about giving you flowers. Those were the choices. You took the 20 hits to the balls instead of the 5 ant bites and the flowers and the self-congratulating asshole.
Saying that with 2020 vision, though. Saying that now, like we don't know what would have happened.
I could have told you that before, though.
You're a politician.
And how come for my entire career on YouTube, I've been telling you that's what was going to happen, and then it did. I'm not 2020 vision. You can literally go find a video of me in 2019 laying out the way they were going to get rid of Roe v. Wade, like before it happened, or maybe it was 2018. Like as far as you're saying, like, but we only know this after the fact, except for that, no, we knew this before, and we knew this was going to happen, and we told you.
My point of saying they only know that after the fact. I'm not talking about Trump. I wasn't saying that about Trump. I'm saying that you can say y'all tried to, you just tried to. I'm not sure the word to use. Y'all pressed the issue about like. You wouldn't even have voted for her now, knowing what you know. But I don't know what it would have been with her. Like, who knows what we would be at right now?
5 ant bites and some
like
flowers.
You say,
but Chase, yours is based on this idea of like, what if the next day she declared martial law, grew out a Hitler mustache, and started rounding up the Jews? Well, sure, I can't prove that isn't going to happen. However, I can tell you what the administration she was a part of did, tell you what her platform was, tell you what the existing capitalist fucking disgusting status quo system is that's going to hold things in place, tell you which ones of her policies she was going to end up either giving up on or only going halfway on. And at the end of the day, the worst thing you would have gotten from her, says all the data, says all the patterns, says everything we can reasonably say to expect. The worst thing you would have gotten was 4 more years of essentially Biden. So again,
you really believe that if she would have won, yes. So you think if she would have won, it would have just been an extension of Biden? You don't think there would have been any more?
No, I actually think
anything more radical than that?
No, I actually think she would have been better than Biden. But I'm saying the worst you would have gotten was Biden. I actually think she would have even been better than Biden on Gaza, despite the fact still being terrible. I think she is capable of shaming into submission by an adequately pissed off enough group as she's considering re-election. And I think Biden wasn't. I think Biden's deep religious beliefs meant that he has these feelings that Israel is for white people and it's great that the Jews are keeping it warm until Jesus comes back. Whereas I don't think she would have had even been that. I think she would have had a cutoff point of giving them weapons sooner than Biden would have. On healthcare, I think that we would have seen a healthcare replacement proposal much better than just extending the ACA stuff. I think that we would have actually started to see reform, and we would have seen the foundation for a future that could be built on to use for Medicare for all. But we wouldn't have seen Medicare for all. I suspect Kamala Harris would have actually been significantly better than Biden was, because she wouldn't have had, especially once we get to find out how little she was going to try to appeal to conservatives once she was actually in. But her political calculus was, let me get up there with Liz Cheney and try to appeal to the Republicans and the moderates. Those guys love black women. That was her mistake, and she should have gone from day one going, Medicare for all, stop letting these billionaires I think she should have, on the debate stage with violations to the FCC, said, this man next to me is a billionaire. He would fuck you in the ass literally, but he's trying to do it figuratively. Stop letting billionaires fuck you in the ass. I'm going to put healthcare in your goddamn throat whether you want it or not. And I think she would have won by a landslide, but instead she tried to do it the DNC way, and she fucking flubbed it.
That was pretty good. Y'all are really good at this. I don't know how long y'all been doing it, but y'all know y'all stuff offhand pretty quick.
20% of my life.
Before this goes, before this ends and everything, I do have a question, since I don't talk about politics with people, and there's something I'm curious about. So I've heard from a lot of people or online and stuff in the past that they used to call Obama the deporter in chief. Like, he deported more people than anybody ever. And I don't think that if Trump even continues at the rate he's going now, that he would reach that number. And like, even me, like, I remember working in construction at a hospital, and I remember like ICE people coming into the hospital that we were building, and all the Hispanics leaving and running from this. I remember that very clearly, but I never heard anything about it in the news. People weren't mad then. Why are people so mad now when it's like, I've said there's military going in? That makes it more extreme.
Because they're hypocrites. Yeah. By the way, Donald Trump is promising to deport more than them. Some reason of why Donald Trump can't, and that he won't admit, is unfortunately for him, the immigration policies, to the ends that conservatives want to see, not to the ends I want to see. To the ends conservatives want to see, the Obama administration's immigration policies and even Biden's follow-up actually were effective at basically getting reducing the number of people you would deport. So partially because he deported so many, and then partially because he made it harder to be here and easier to deport. That is why Trump is failing to meet his record. But Trump is promising deporting 11 million, and Obama's whole thing was 3.1, of which Trump already accomplished 1 million in his first term. And with how radical his things are, you thinking that he won't deport more, I can't agree with. But yes, Barack Obama was not a good president. He was not a good man, but he's a handsome, fun guy who I would put in prison next to Donald Trump and Joe Biden.
Yeah, I do think it's a little bit of like us in this age range, like people in their late 20s, early 30s also were like in high school when Obama was doing those things. So we were not as aware. And I do think that there is like probably a larger representative of like anti-capitalist, leftist leaning people, like, further left than liberals in our age group. So like, yeah, we are now realizing like, oh shit, this guy who we thought was cool when we were in high school actually was pretty bad on immigration and drone strikes and things like this. And that was just business as usual. And now we're entering a time when like business as usual is like deteriorating quite rapidly. And we're reflecting back on the last 15, 20 years and going, how did we get here? Well, Obama was part of the problem, wasn't he? So, yeah.
We're already at 500,000 since Trump's second term started, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. But as far as immigration goes, since we're talking about it, like, what should be, y'all feel like you don't think we should make it harder for people to getting here illegally? Like, I feel like that's a problem. Like, when people are just jumping that fence.
The problem is,
people jump the fence here and don't go through the proper things.
Yes, put proper things and make it easy as fuck.
On that.
Put up a door, whatever you want. Make sure they didn't commit violent crimes in other countries. You're here legally. Citizenship, make whatever process, make it easy. Let's go back to the days where it was easy to become an immigrant and work in this country and get access to the resources of this country. Make sure then everybody's paying taxes, everybody's covered with healthcare, all that kind of shit. Make sure that right now, the worst thing that's happening in terms of illegal immigration is abuse of illegal immigrants by American corporations and billionaires. That's the worst thing happening. Not that they are here. Not that they are stealing jobs that nobody wants anyway. It's crazy.
You don't think I feel like it's a problem if, that people are just coming in here unchecked, because that can lead to many problems, even though that might not be the most pressing issue right now.
They've never been coming in unchecked. What is the number one way? Chase, that is a tiny group of people. What is the number one way a person becomes an illegal immigrant? I'll give you a hint. It's the way Elon Musk did it.
I think before the hint, what I would assume, if you're just asking me that, my guess would be that they come here on a visa and the visa expires and they become illegal. That's what would be my guess.
That is the overwhelming majority, almost all of the cases, overstaying a visa. The coyote way, the cartel way, is an extreme minority, and still even those ways aren't responsible even for most of the drug trafficking, for example, or the sex trafficking.
How do we know that it's so small, though? How do we know it's so small? Because we don't know every person that comes over, so I don't feel like that's counted. Yeah, you say it's small, but again, I personally met a lot of people that have came over that way. Personally.
We have ways of gathering data. We have ways of generally assessing what is the population of an area and what percentage of that population is documented. Therefore, we might not know why, but this amount is undocumented, which is why we use the term undocumented instead of illegal. We also have an idea.
We do that through the census, correct?
I'm not done. We have an idea of how many people are here on expired visas, and then you can extrapolate from arrests, from encounters, and take those percentages and apply them to general population. So you can estimate. But just like I can't prove Kamala Harris wasn't waiting to show off her Hitler mustache and start rounding up Jews, I can't prove that wasn't going to happen one day. I also can't prove that there isn't an underground city full of 50 million Wakandan illegal immigrants, and they're like stealing all of our vibranium, right? I can't prove to you this magical thing, but with the best numbers we have, the best assessments we have a general idea of roughly how many people are here and which way they became illegal.
You said, okay. Y'all are good at this.
Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever.
You know what we did, Chase? You're going to hate this. We got informed.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one, man.
Chase.
This is more encouragement for me. That's just more encouragement for me. I appreciate y'all talking to me. Honestly, it was a good faith on my part. I felt like y'all weren't too mean.
Thanks, man. We hope you stay around, stay around, hang out, listen to the conversations.
Will do. You have a good one.
I'll send you some unobtainium. Bye, Chase. It's really hard to obtain.
I know, it's crazy.
That unobtainium. It's tough. All right, we're going to talk to our last caller of the day. I'm going to let Lux have this one way more. I'm sorry if I'm monopolizing. I'll go get a snack to occupy my mouth.
Okay.
Jerry in the United Kingdom is a conservative who doesn't believe transgender is a valid category of being because gender and sex are the same thing. Jerry, welcome to the line.
Hello.
I'm Jimmy. This is Luxander. Have fun.
Yeah. Hello. Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah. So I don't agree that a person can be transgender, that gender and sex are like opposite or different from each other. What you would say is gender, I would describe as personality.
What if I told you that gender is a significant aspect of someone's personality?
What does that mean?
I mean, I'm basically agreeing with you that gender is a set of, like, it's a whole bunch of different things, right? And it's like socially defined, and it's kind of dependent on context. So like gender as a concept is just like how do you personally, as your individual characteristics, like how do you fit within this construct? So like, yeah, gender is personality in a lot of significant ways. It is also a huge set of external factors that are being pushed on you kind of all the time. So yeah, I mean, and I also don't know
How do we
why.
improve the sound situation? What is all this sound that's feeding back, dude? Are we on speaker? Can you
Sorry. No, I'm using headphones. I'll move my computer from the table one sec. Okay, when I'm talking right now, do you hear anything? Any background noise?
I think we're fine. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
basically, like what I'm trying to say is like I don't necessarily disagree with you that gender is part of someone's personality. Like, yes, it is. Like, how do you see yourself within this group? And like there are different kinds of women. You know, like there are women who are like, I work on cars and I bang my girlfriend, and then there's women who are like, I wear high heels and my nails are so pretty. Like, yes, of course, gender is part of your personality. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but that's just variety of a personality. People are still belong to a biological category of being a man or a woman. If your chromosomes, if your gonads, if your what's it called? It's just if your whole body is predisposed to produce large gametes in sexual reproduction or small gametes in sexual reproduction. Those are still real categories, and I'm not saying that the man
and I'm not denying that necessarily, right? So I acknowledge that these biological factors exist objectively. Like objectively, someone either has a penis or they don't, except in cases where maybe they have a micro penis or something. Like there's clear,
which is like 0.01% or something like that.
It's about 2% of the global population, which is like an entire country. So it's very, and also I want to be totally clear, Jerry, that's only the ones we know of. You know that we stopped doing chromosome testing in sports because a bunch of people kept finding out, dude, I swear to God, we stopped doing chromosome testing in sports because a bunch of cisgender people kept finding out that they had intersex chromosomes. So that 2% number, that's only the ones it's mostly the ones who were born with a clear genital difference. But like there are so many different intersex conditions, and there are biological XY females with uteruses and ovaries who have given birth to XY females with ovaries. So we do not have any idea how many people are intersex on this planet. Do you think, hold on real quick, do you think that an intersex person must identify as non-binary?
No, I think an intersex person is an intersex person. He's still.
But can they be a man or a woman, or are they precluded from that? Can they not? Are they not allowed to identify as a man or a woman because they are not male or female?
I don't know how a person can identify. The person can identify as whatever they want. I'm asking your opinion. Yeah, they can, sure, but. So
you think that gender and sex are separate, and that they exist independently of each other?
No, not completely independently. I think I use those words as the same thing. I think gender was a concept that was created by John Money in 1950s. It got coined to be used for people.
It was coined by a child who was abused. That's crazy. So my question was: is an intersex person allowed to say I'm a man or I'm a woman because they are not biologically a man or a woman according to your definition?
No, a person is allowed to say whatever they want, freedom of speech.
So you respect their gender identity.
That won't make them. What would that mean? respecting
if an
their gender
intersex
identity.
person identifies as a woman, so let's say an intersex person finds out during puberty that they actually have testicles inside, and even though they thought, oh, I'm a woman and I should have ovaries, they find out they have testicles inside. Is that person allowed to identify as a woman?
That person will be biologically male. I'm just not talking
that's
about
not my,
how hurtful.
That's not my question, Jerry. That's not my question, Jerry. Please focus. My question is that person allowed to identify as a woman?
He can say.
So hold on, let me just review this. I want to make it absolutely clear what I mean. A person is born with a vagina. When they get into puberty, they grow boobs. No, hold on. Maybe other people don't know about it, but I am laying out an example, and I need you to please focus. Please focus. So the person was a baby with a vagina, and they grow up and they have boobs, and they seem to have a vagina, and everything's working normally, and then they don't get a period, even though they're expecting to get a period. They look like a woman, they sound like a woman, they have estrogen in their bodies, but they find out that they have testes instead of ovaries. Do you think that person gets to exist in society as a woman?
But they're a biological male. There is nothing wrong with being a biological male. Do
you think that woman has to say, I'm a male and dress like a man, even though she has a vagina that she was born with and boobs?
Listen. Being a male and dressing as a man is different things. I'm just concerned with...
Jerry,
I'm focused on this topic.
Jerry, hey, Jerry, is your favorite food a Ford Mustang?
That's not.
It couldn't be, because those two concepts are totally fucking unrelated to each other. So if I asked you what your favorite food is, it'd be fucking crazy if you answered Ford Mustang. And yet when you are asked equally direct questions, that's how far away from the question you are answering them. Jesus fucking Christ. Jerry, what is your first language? You are just clearly not your first language. What is?
No, Russian. But no, I'm fluent. I'm fluent in English. I can... maybe if you clarify, maybe I got something wrong. We can. Oh,
so you're saying you're this, you obfuscate this much, and you keep track of the conversation this much, and only go to your script just this much. What is?
No, I'm
do
saying,
Russians pronounce John Money the same way?
No, is John Money pronounced in Russian the same way?
Yeah.
No, John Money. Maybe you would say it like that.
Up in your script, would I hear it? I'll be like, oh, same script, just in Russian is what I'm asking.
No,
Jerry, I'm going to be honest. Lux, if you want the call, you can have it. But you are just repeating things you don't understand. And at the end of the day, you're calling in like the kind of last caller did a little bit. You have a vibe check that you don't think gender and sex are different. So I'm sitting here going, I know the expertise. Hang on, I'm not done talking. Jesus fucking Christ, that was not an invitation to start because you heard a word you wanted to react to. At the end of the day, I have to go, all right, here's what I know. The UN accepts, based on lots of science and studies, that sex and gender are different if you want something a little closer to you. So does the World Health Organization. In America, the APA defines them as separate with just fucking myriad sources of why they are separate, why gender is about. And by the way, you fully know, Jerry, because I know that Russian society is patriarchal like the rest, that you grew up with the concept of gender as a spectrum separate, because nobody asked how much of a male are you being. They asked you to be a certain amount of a man. So male, whether you had the chromosomes or whatever growing up, I'm still not fucking done. I'm just still so not fucking done because I am an alpha male. That's what I am. You were raised with the expectation that you were going to be some level of a man, and you heard about the gender spectrum because you could be more of a man than somebody else. And that person over there, they're a girly man. You already fully know well that you, when I'm fucking done, you can respond in Russian if you like. Fucking Christ. Jerry, you fully already know it's a spectrum because you've operated on that spectrum all your life. But what your argument is that some people don't get access to crossing into your side of the spectrum, even if they are an extremely masculine person who feels that way, or it's just their vibe check. But your vibe check is such that you think it overpowers the APA, the UN, the WHO, and a shit ton of other CEDAW, NIH, organizations who go, yeah, all the science actually points this out. And let's be honest, we've been treating gender like a spectrum long before we knew trans people existed. Now, with my benevolent permission, you may respond.
You can quote any organization you'd like, but it doesn't make it true, you know? How, like, okay.
It doesn't overpower your... And you can vibe all you want, but you're not presenting anything to counter all of those organizations' research, all of the reasons they do it. You're just saying, I just feel like they don't.
Can they define what a woman is? Like, an objective
sure
because you use the word, right? Can you define it? Okay, go ahead.
No, can I, or can those organizations do so?
You can pull up any definition you'd like.
Okay, do you want my definition or do you want theirs?
Your definition.
My definition of what a woman is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did. And the definition of a man. Let's see. What is the one? I really like the one Javon used. It is a person whose schema aligns with that of, what is it? Do you remember how he says it? I like his wording the best. It's better than my own.
I haven't done a call with him yet. I need to lock in.
His word, yeah, he uses that word schema, and I really love that. It's a gender category. Woman is a gender category, generally related to a feminine schema. By the way, Jerry, just so you know, earlier in the show, I said that they're losing when they just go to, if your definition is more than the 3 words I like, it's not the right definition. That's all you guys have. It's too bad you weren't here earlier.
Let's break down your definition. You said it's a person whose schema, right?
I said I'm borrowing that word from. from Javon. Jerry, I don't care about. Again, this isn't an answer to the question. This is so you trying to go to an aside and now make it about what is a woman, and you have yet to answer why your vibe check is better than all of the research that has led to all of those professional organizations from concluding that gender and sex are separate. And if you don't have an answer for it, I just want to be done with the day. I've been fucking going all day with you, Redax.
No, gender and sex is the same thing because it is.
Because that's your vibe, bro.
What is gender? No, it's not it's the vibe. You can have a personality. A man can be effeminate. No one's restricting him of being that, but he's still a man. I'm not using that as an insult or anything.
Again,
or a woman can be the most masculine person ever.
If a man is feminine and then realizes that they are a woman, then they're a woman. If a man is feminine and just is feminine, then they're a feminine man.
So what's the difference between a super feminine man who identifies as a man and a super feminine man, a super effeminate male who identifies as a woman? Like self-ID.
Whatever they say. You already said it. What's the difference?
Okay, now you're changing definition.
And one of them declares the other. I don't know if you know how social constructs work, but they're at relative experience. So where they understand that is, what they are comfortable identifying as, is clearly the difference.
Now they always come back to the self-identification definition, which is like a woman is a person who says they're a woman. That definition is completely
By the way, a woman is a person who says that a woman is not what the definition is. However, day to day, that is pretty much operationally all you need. But that isn't what I said. However, operationally,
I'm concerned with
I trust your name is shut the fuck up, buddy. I trust your name is Jerry because names are a social construct that you get to self-identify with. Even though it might not be Jerry, I'm going to treat you like a Jerry Seinfeld, which means I'm going to treat you like a pedophile.
That's nice.
He did bang that 17-year-old. It's pretty weird.
Oh yeah,
that's too old for a man in his 30s.
Is it that comedian 1738? That's the meme. Yeah. Yeah, I don't support that shit.
Is that English? You know, it's the whites that I see are the problem.
I'm not white, by the way. I speak Russian.
Oh, you're one of those black Russians?
No, I'm not a Russian. I just speak Russian. You know.
Oh, your first language is Russian. Where are you from?
I'm Kazakh.
Where are you from? You're from Kazakhstan.
No. Kazakhstan.
Oh,
Kazakhstan. But you're Catholic?
Yeah.
Oh, he said he's Kazakh.
But I'm what?
Oh, you're Kazakh. Okay, that's hilarious
Yeah.
too. It sounded exactly like you said Catholic.
Oh,
Are you Muslim?
No. No. I'm an atheist.
Well, thank goodness for that. What's that?
He said he's
I'm
atheist.
an atheist.
So you just have the bigotry of a Kazakh Muslim.
No, I don't believe I'm bigot. Like, I don't hate anyone. I can be friends with anyone, you know?
That's the definition of bigotry.
And I think trans
Thomas
people
Jefferson loved his slaves so much he fucked them. So I don't know if I'd call him a bigot. Think about that. Loved them. Had kids with them. Fucking loved them. So let's stop saying that Thomas Jefferson was a bigot just for owning slaves. Jerry, do you really? Is your heart in this? Because I've lost it. Lux, is your heart here? Am I taking it back and you wish I hadn't, or are you good to go?
What do you think about? What do you think about the gender critical perspective on the whole gender thing?
I think that they're entrenched in an ideological position that is in no way distinguishable from the way that white women acted about Black people being near them during segregation in my country.
Yeah, I feel like gender critical is like the way people would use the phrase like vaccine skepticism. Like they want that word skepticism in there to make it sound like they're reasonable and good and it's just asking questions. But in reality, they're the fucking most redacted assholes in the world that are like, you know what? I like the sources that agree with me. I don't, whatever flaws those sources might have. Are you anti-vax, Jerry?
Against certain, not against certain vaccines, yes, not against all vaccines.
Oh yeah. Which vaccine?
I'm against the COVID vaccine.
Yeah, the one you said just now. There wasn't.
He's against the COVID vaccine.
A valid.
You think it's turning kids trans or what?
No. What's turning kids trans is transgender rhetoric saying that men can be women and the woman can be men. That's
fair enough.
I guess that's why I ended up trans, even though nobody told me that.
You know what turned people gay is acknowledging that gay people exist, and a bunch of people went, "Ah, fuck, I do feel that way." So, goddamn these definitionalist assholes turning people gay.
Some of them potentially yes, because when it becomes more
Jerry, are you gay?
trendy in the media, huh? No,
Jerry, you gay? You sure about that? Does your mom know you're gay?
Yeah.
She does.
Cool. No, that's putting a false proposition into the question. It's
what
like,
is?
With a faulty.
You smell gay.
That question. Proposition one. No, that in that question. That
hey Jerry, who's the hottest trans woman you've ever seen?
Huh?
Who's the hottest trans woman you've ever seen?
No, some of them pass. I don't know their names though. But that doesn't even in the
past, from all the horror movies these days. People want her to play Zelda.
Hunter Schafer.
Hunter Schafer's a babe, isn't she, Jerry?
Well, he is a man.
Come on.
So,
nah, but she's hot. She's hot though, right?
Well, he has like a billion facial surgeries.
Jerry,
and shit.
Will you admit that if a genie just changed her chromosomes, you'd be all about it?
He specifically, he looks like a woman because of.
By the way, earlier you said you respect trans people and their ability to identify, and now you're purposefully misgendering, which means you don't.
I use my language correctly.
Okay, so Jerry, but I'm going to use my language correctly because according to my sensitivities, you're not Jerry. You're little bitch boy Jerry. So little bitch boy Jerry, because my sensitivity and my vibe is that's what your name really is. And you admit that if you accept that if all you changed was her biology, so she was a biological female, Hunter Schafer just gets you going.
No, it's an interesting question. Like, would you have sex with a person, a transgender who looks exactly like a woman?
I would never ask who you're gonna have sex with. It's so fucking cis het men are so fucking weird. They always think
started
like
it.
if I had been like, this is the same jump of like, oh my God, she laughed at my joke. She must want my penis. Let me send her a picture of it. It's so fucking weird that when I just ask you if she's hot, that you're sitting there being like, and I'm saying chromosome. I'm not talking about her genitals. You're like, he must want to know if I'd mash up all in her vagina. Nobody asked you that. I just asked if she is fine as hell because you know she is.
maybe I interpreted the question wrong. But yeah, if a person
Yeah, you did, Jerry.
like, spends
Very
all-
cishet male like.
if they get surgeries and shit, they literally mold their face, they inject testosterone for all this time, and they may appear like a woman.
I'm giving you a genie, Jerry. Jerry, I'm giving you a genie. Genie comes. It's just like, hey, I can. You know what? She likes you. She thinks you're gorgeous. She wants to go on a date with you. Nothing about her appearance will change, but she'll become to your sensibilities, to what you consider biological woman. She'll now be that. No, I'm just saying. Will you admit that you'd be like, fuck yeah, she's hot as fuck?
No, if he would be, if the man would turn into a woman.
She.
Okay, she. No, I wouldn't, because that'd be pretty weird. Like, that never happened. That, you don't know the.
Jerry, get out of here. Jerry, your problem with trans people is that you really hate how hot they are. And it makes you feel gay.
I don't hate anyone.
That we know you're not gay. What's that?
Like,
just so you know, Lux is backed away. Lux is asking you to objectify them.
I think the transgender,
for everybody else but Jerry.
Position.
Jerry, look at it right now, and you tell us, which one are you objectifying, top or bottom? Ooh, which one are you objectifying? Which one of us?
No, the person on the top, the person on top doesn't really pass well. I'm just saying. I'm
Thank you.
Wait, Jerry, you're saying you don't like Lux because Lux is a biological man and you're not attracted to men?
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
High five, Jerry.
Funny that. No one tell him. No one tell Jerry. Is that not the greatest compliment when you're trans mask? Being great. Like, sorry, I will not accept that you're not a man. Is that not?
Yeah, it's weird because I get a lot of trans misogyny directed at me, and I'm just like, swing and a miss.
You're a biological woman. I'm sorry. Okay.
No, Jerry, you said it, dude. I don't pass.
Jerry, do you said it, man. On the screen, I always love the phrase biological and a gender category where it's just like, none of us are fucking cyborg. Hey, Jerry, do I have a penis or a vagina?
Inject every drug. Huh?
Do I have a penis or a vagina, Jerry? Look at me. Look at the beard. Can you tell by the beard? It's a very full beard, right? It's clearly a biological man's beard, right?
I mean, I saw what the transgenders can do.
The forehead. Which gender gets this kind of slope of a forehead? You could fucking ski to your cabin.
I need to see this.
You need to see my.
Skip the screen.
What part of me do you need to see?
Oh, I see it now. Okay.
Yeah. What do I got in my pants? If you guess right, I'll show on screen.
Probably a dick, yeah. So a penis.
Probably. But you're not confident. Whatever it is, Jerry.
No. Okay, no.
Whatever it is, Jerry, you couldn't handle it.
In 99% of cases, you can tell. Like this meme that of transgender that they pass now.
In 99% of cases that you've ever seen, you can totally tell.
No, look, I pass. In university, I walk around. I see a person. You can clearly tell it's transgender. Like I'm being honest.
Luxander, if a person is right now a transphobe because they're an egg and they don't realize they're self-hating, what's the best resource for them to go check out?
Now you're saying, no. This is a very
egg, I guess.
Common info.
Reddit/egg.
Like you're implying that I'm secretly a transgender, which in your mind is a
Jerry.
negative thing.
I'm just saying, if you or anybody you know is and need to address that, Reddit r/egg. All right, well, Jerry. Tell your mom you're gay. Bye, buddy.
All right. Bye. Thank you, guys.
Go to bed.
Sit there and pretend you don't. Bro is so devastated that Hunter Schafer is a fucking babe.
He's 99% of the time I can tell. Yeah, sure. My voice is so 99%. Like not. I wish I had access to my deep voice right now. It's just not. My voice is too dry. I was like, I really wanted to bust it out, but I'm not voice trained for it.
What is a mussy? I've been told I have a mussy.
Is it a man pussy? Like, is that distinct from the bussy?
Bussy,
The pussy is
mussy,
the boy
butt.
pussy or the back pussy or what pussy. Like there's a lot of different
I
B
thought it
words.
was butt pussy this whole time.
It's boy pussy.
I thought anyone could have a bussy. Oh, word. All right. Look that up.
Oh.
I'm not on Tumblr. Okay, guys?
Neither am I.
I don't know what you came up with. I'm over in fucking MAGA Reddit. That's where I am. I'm among the enemy. Kind of literally. Look at where I live. I'm out here just
pussy might be like more of an in-person, like from gay culture, hookup culture in person is where bussy came from. I don't think that that's an internet term. I think that that's much older.
I'm running around MAGA land, seeing if I pass as MAGA, seeing if I'm stealth. By the way, super easy. All I have to do is slouch more. And they're like, he's one of us. As soon as I stand up straight, he's like, fucking queer. Get the fuck out of here. Almost said the other one. Just don't know. With certain tones of voices, I don't know that I would have even been mad if the robots that scrape our videos were like, get that out of here. Come on, but guy. I'm using that accent. Oh my God.
What a day it
if
has
gender
been.
is a spectrum, why would a man ever tell a little boy to be, is it not a spectrum? Why would it make ever sense to tell a person to be a man? How would it be possible to not be a man unless it's a spectrum? By the way, every MAGA person who didn't call but thought about it and pussed out, that means I'm more of a man than you are. Being a man is being brave enough to follow. Well, you're more of a man than I am, but we're not trying to. Okay.
What is implied by that? I don't even know. Leave it open to interpretation.
I went so many places and then I heard Jerry going, the person on the top is not passing very well. I love
so many funny things happen on this show.
I love that moment. Just like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Like, thanks,
Jerry. I'm gonna probably isolate the which one are you objectifying one. Who is, unless you don't want that out there on Instagram.
I don't care. I don't care. Please make money off of people being stupid about my gender, please.
Audience at home. Wait, should we poll it? Should we poll it?
Yeah.
Should we put it in a poll?
Poll it. Did you guys made a YouTube short out of the who is this female?
Oh, I did. I think I have it somewhere. Which did you objectify? And here's the funny thing. This one has two meanings. Because the answers are top and bottom. You little weirdos. You frickin' pervs. There is no I swear to fucking Christ, the person who's like, how come there's no none option or no both option? Because I don't want you to answer. Pick a lane, you fucking fence-sitting bullshit
forcing
asshole.
Into a binary choice. We've become anti-non-binary.
This is binary. Did that growl get me a couple percentage points?
Got a little Alex Jones moment there.
I knew I was going to lose, but that's pretty good.
I'm sorry.
Honestly, I thought I'd do much bigger.
It's really quite flattering. You know, it's hard to beat.
Lux, I'm going to be honest. The whole time, every time I look over at you, I'm like, I'm fairly certain we're a sneeze away from demonetization, if not a ban. But I don't know where things are.
No.
Okay.
Listen, I'm wearing pasties.
If I was wearing it, my nipple would be out. Oh, all right. Then we're good.
I got my nips pierced last year and I was like, I'm not fucking risking it with a crochet top. So I put big old Band-Aids on. So I think even if I took this whole thing off, I would still be technically in the green.
I feel there would be more Band-Aid streams out there if YouTube allowed pasty only. I don't know though.
I'm not saying I want to. I'm just saying I don't know the policy. Tasteful nudity can sometimes be allowed on the platform, but yeah, it's basically they just get to decide what's appropriate and what's not, case by case.
Wow, only 38% of you objectify the bottom.
Wow. They want to be objectified,
you know what they say?
You know?
They say that you are more likely to be MAGA if you are a boobs over butts person, and since 62% say they prefer the top to the bottom, that means, well, kind of literally too, but since that's what we're talking about. But I was more just talking about the choices, not what they literally. All right, I've dug myself in a hole. Also, I'm not a bottom. which is frustrating too. Because like, how many people are voting? Like, I'm voting Jimmy if this makes him a bottom.
Not this time.
What are my thoughts on Twitch? The platform or the involuntary movement? Wouldn't it be weird if it was the other one? What a dumb question. I've had a long day.
What's wrong with you?
There's no ethical consumption under capitalism. So what are you going to do about it? It is funny that leftism is arguably being spread the most on such a bastion of capitalism. There's an irony that I enjoy, because irony is one of life's great joys.
That's so true. I've thought about dual streaming. I just don't want to spend money on Streamlabs dual streaming to do it on my personal thing.
Yeah. They do make a program out there that you can pay monthly, and then you can have it, basically it takes your stream and then it distributes it to like several at a time. And
yeah,
StreamYard does multi-streaming.
I just don't want to spend money.
Plans. Yeah, but if you make more than that money back for doing it,
that's
true.
Worth
doing, right?
That's true. Yeah. But I'm also about to get an accountant, so.
That's true.
Yeah, we'll find out. Like, am I going to make more money off of donations because people are coming from Twitch, even though I won't be monetized on Twitch, but they could still donate through my website platform. So yeah, I don't know. It's just like I don't know how the math is going to math on that. So I'd have to buy Streamlabs and then see how it goes.
Let me see if I can get some votes to change. Hang on. I'm gonna
get your hair down.
I did cut it though, so who knows? I'm about to, after this, I'm going to take a shower and then we're going to test run my queer Christ costume for tomorrow. Don't forget tomorrow to join us over on the line. Forrest and I are doing a Halloween celebration. Also, follow us at patreon.com/call the line if you want to support all the programming all over here. And don't miss our merch that's coming out in November, as well as the new podcast that comes out tomorrow. Just look up The Line has a podcast. I've been Jimmy Snow, and isn't that just unfortunate for all of us? I thought you would say
true,
something.
bestie. I'm Luxander. Luxander.net is my website, or find me at Luxander Real on YouTube. Thank you.
I thought it was Luxander.gg. Is that not a thing?
Nope. It's just, you know how much more money that costs versus Luxander.net.
I thought you had like one of those stream sites the way like Vosh did for a while.
But I buy my own domain. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But so I do have one. I have a Vosh site. Yeah, I have it. I have Luxander.net. It's the same website format as Vosh and all them. I just had to buy my own domain, and then she attached my domain to her framework. So yeah.
Vosh is a woman?
No. White Nervosa is the person who made the website.
No. I thought Vosh, you were telling me
that would be like if you came out as trans, like people and the egg posting about both of you, and you're both so aggressively queer men.
Literally all I said on the last episode, because I hang out with a lot of women. I do hang out with men too, but most of my best friends are women. And I said, like, just here trying to be one of the girls. And that sparked a thing in the comments of like, Jimmy's totally trans. I used to say that so too. Weird. It's like when I say like, I enjoy potato chips. Therefore, if you enjoy potato chips, you have autism. Anyway, you have autism. Good night.
Bye.
I don't know if we'll have a fade to black.